hii ni yako. Peke yako malisa, hakuna mtu mwingine anakuingililia. Toa hapa.
Mimi nimegojea tafadhali.
Ni ukule hiyo chakula. Unaonwa saa hii kula. Very good girl. Very good girl. What? Nini?
Tuko na emergency.
Ile emergency ya
Nipatie hiyo 200.
Mama Kaya ndio wako nayo.
Mama Kaya nipatie 200.
Mimi mutaharibu kazi yangu.
Chukua kunywa kama unataka.
Unaniruhusia maji?
Toka.
Unajua hapo unaweza ungua maji.
Mimi niko sawa, ongeza tu kuni hapa.
Unasikia nanuka kama Manyara?
It's so refreshing.
Refreshing?
Naipenda.
Wellness is important in our daily lives so that instead of just surviving, we should be thriving.
Ways to prevent a stroke or heart attack is for you to know what conditions you have. By regular checkup, people don't know they have hypertension, they don't know they have diabetes.
I was pre-diabetic. I was afraid of getting lifestyle diseases because I come from a family that has lifestyle diseases.
How do you know if your cough is due to a serious condition? We'll have some answers. Stay well
And strive to make every day a healthy day.
Then just ask her out.
But we're not that close. What if I ask her out and she refuses? It's awkward.
What's awkward about that?
Thank you for liking me and telling me your feelings. But I'm sorry. I'm enjoying my single life right now. I just want to be alone. I just broke free from a marriage and I don't want to jump into another one.
Good evening. This is Sunday Express on the 23rd of February 2025, and tonight we're going to be talking about developing skills and character, focusing on a movement that if you were born in the 70s and 80s, well, you must well know about the Girl Guide movement, which is way older than just the 70s and the 80s. I just want to pick a little bit from their motto. It says, "I promise on my honor that I'll do my best to do my duty to God and to my country, to help other people at all times, and to obey the guide law." And in studio tonight, we have our very own guest. Yes, you can see that is Madam Betty Law Anderson, who is a national board member of the Bravo Branch Advisor. We're going to be looking at this particular movement, given that this weekend, all action led to Nyeri County as Girl Guides as well as Scouts went to commemorate the founder's birthday. That is held this a week-long exercise on the 22nd of February all the way to the 23rd, 24th. We're talking about Lord Baden-Powell and his wife, the guide leader, founder, so to speak, that is Lady O'Vale. So we'll be keeping tabs on that and just trying to look at how this particular movement is helping girls across the country get the much required skills to survive under several different environments, and also helping them shape themselves when it comes to matters of the law. The motto is, back then when we were learning what guiding was about, was that always be prepared, and as such, on KBC Channel 1, we are prepared for you. Let's have a sneak peek of what stories that have been making headlines in the last 12 hours or so.
assure the people of Kenya that we will surmount the small challenge that happened around that place between the two communities in Ethiopia and our country in Turkana, and there should be no cause for alarm. We will do what needs to be done to keep our people safe.
Several Kenyan fishermen killed and others trapped in Lake Turkana following an attack by the Dasanach community from Ethiopia.
On the suspension of services under SHA and MKL medical schemes with effect from Monday the 24th of February 2025. As you are aware, we have taken this decision because of the issue of pending NHIF liabilities.
Rural and urban private hospitals threaten to withdraw services for patients under the Social Health Authority SHA over 30 billion shillings debt. And Kenya to roll out a multiple entry electronic travel authorization for cruise ship tourists in Mombasa. Good evening. This is Sunday Express. I'm Regina, Manyara, and my colleague in sign language is none other than Byron Abuli. Now, the government has deployed additional security to the Kenya-Ethiopia border following a conflict between Kenyan citizens and the Dasanach community members from Ethiopia in Lopei Mukat area. Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen says the government is in talks with its counterparts in Ethiopia to find a lasting solution to the conflict, which boiled over on Saturday evening.
An unconfirmed number of fishermen in Turkana are believed to have been killed on Saturday in an attack by suspected Dasanach fishermen from Ethiopia at the Todonyang border in Turkana County. Confirming the attack, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen said some of the fishermen remain unaccounted for.
IG and our police have responded very well from yesterday up to now. There are some of our citizens who are yet to be accounted for, and it is a challenge which is cross-border.
Murkomen said the attack is believed to have been fueled by border issues, adding that the two governments have begun mediation talks to resolve the tension between the two communities and restore peace.
Na serikali ya Ethiopia saa hizi mikutano inaendelea ya kuweza kushawishiana vile ya kusaidiana na nchi jirani kwa sababu ya border issues. Now we are working together with the Kenya Defence Forces because it's also an international issue to make sure that we resolve that issue.
The government is yet to confirm the number of casualties of the attack. The government has deployed additional security to the region. Martini Maslin for Sunday Express.
That's a developing story we're going to be keeping tabs on. Now, President William Ruto says Kenya is set to roll out a multiple entry electronic travel authorization for cruise ship tourists at the port of Mombasa. Addressing journalists at the cruise ship terminal, the president stressed the government's commitment to advertising the country as a preferred tourism destination. He urged the private sector to take advantage of the increased number of domestic and international tourists visiting the country and invest more in the hospitality industry. He further stated that the country targets welcoming 5 million tourists by 2027, up from 2.4 million recorded in 2024.
President William Ruto was at the cruise ship terminal at the port of Mombasa to welcome the cruise ship Norwegian Dawn, which docked early on Sunday morning with 2,200 passengers and over 1,000 crew members on board. It is here that the head of state stresses government's commitment to advertising Kenya as a preferred tourism destination, revealing that the country is set to roll out a multiple entry electronic travel authorization to get rid of unnecessary delays for visitors.
We will be changing our visa and our ETA so that we can make it easier and seamless. Let me repeat, make it easier and seamless for those of you who are visiting, so that there is no paperwork, there are no issues, and we have agreed with the management of the port that that will be made easy and simple so that visitors can visit our country and our cities.
He revealed that 8 more cruise ships are expected to dock at the terminal before the end of the season. The president further stated that the country revenue from tourism increased to about 450 billion shillings in 2024.
There are opportunities as we increase the number of tourists coming to Kenya. There are opportunities in providing hospitality facilities, from beaches, beach hotels, to other tourist facilities, making sure that we have resorts. And I want to tell the private sector to expand their footprint on making sure that our visitors, as we grow the numbers, we must also be growing the facilities.
Tilio Marco for Sunday Express.
Tomatoes Health now in a move that is expected to significantly impact healthcare access across the country. The Rural and Urban Private Hospitals Association of Kenya, RUFA, has announced that it will withdraw services for patients under the Social Health Authority, SHA, starting Monday, the 24th of 2025, due to the government's failure to settle an outstanding debt of over 30 billion shillings owed to private hospitals. RUFA chairman Brian Lishigwe, however, clarified that emergency services will go on as usual and only inpatient services will be affected.
The Rural and Urban Private Hospitals Association of Kenya, which represents a large network of private healthcare providers across the country, cited the government's continued non-payment of claims as the main reason for its drastic action. The debt has placed significant financial strain on hospitals, according to the association's chairman, Dr. Brian Leshanga.
Deni ambalo hizi hospitali zinadai shirika la SHA ni zaidi ya bilioni 30. Na deni ambalo hizi hospitali pia zinadai MKL ama ule mfumo bima ya polisi na walimu ni zaidi ya bilioni 9. Hili ndilo deni ambalo tunaomba ya kwamba lilipwe ili huduma ambazo wagonjwa wanapata wakifika hospitali zikuwe huduma ambazo zinafurahisha na zinaweza kuwasaidia watu wetu.
The move will affect thousands of patients who rely on private hospitals for treatment under the Social Health Authority and the Medical Administrators Kenya Limited. However, Dr. Leshenga clarified that services will continue normally for emergency services and patients admitted before the 24th of February.
Hakuna mgonjwa yoyote ambaye anafaa kunyimwa huduma za dharura kwa sababu ya mabadiliko haya. Wagonjwa ambao walilazwa chini ya mpango wa SHA ama MKL kabla ya tarehe ya kusitisha huduma wataendelea kupata matibabu bila usumbufu wowote. Ikiwa mgonjwa atakuja kuanzia Jumatatu, tungependa hospitali ziambie wagonjwa ya kwamba kuna alternatives. Kunazo alternatives, it is not haitakuwa kuzuia wagonjwa kupata huduma.
RUFA says the government has yet to provide a formal response to their demands.
Ingawaje tulitoa ilani Ijumaa ya wiki iliyopita, mpaka wa sasa hakuna mtu yeyote ambaye amejaribu kuongea na sisi. Na kama chama cha hospitali za kibinafsi tuko tayari wakati wowote kuongea na serikali.
This development follows months of negotiations between the association and the government over the unpaid funds, with little progress made. Mariambo reporting for Sunday Express.
So we'll be keeping tabs on that particular development come tomorrow, which is less than 12 hours, give or take, to see if RUFA will make do with that particular threat or promise. Now, Sudan's Rapid Support Forces and its allies have signed a charter to form a parallel government dubbed a Government of Peace and Unity. The signatories, including over 20 political parties across Sudan, 10 civil organizations and 5 military groups led by Rapid Support Forces, inked the deal in Nairobi on Saturday night. Foreign and Diaspora Affairs Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi says President William Ruto has maintained a non-partisan position. He has also denied that the summit is aimed to forming a parallel government.
A closed-door meeting of Sudan's rebel group Rapid Support Forces and its allies in Nairobi Hotel Saturday night, after several successive meetings, finally agreed to strike a deal. The parties announced the formation of Sudan Founding Alliance, an outfit that will lead to forming a parallel government in areas under their control in eastern Sudan. RSF, represented by Abdel Dagalo, a deputy and brother of RSF commander Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo, who was absent, inked the deal with 5 military groups, 20 political parties across Sudan, and 10 civil organizations. The charter also details a resolution to establish a new national army featuring members from all parts of Sudan. This comes hours after President William Ruto engaged United States Secretary of State Marco Rubio and vowed to offer a platform for all warring parties in Sudan to engage in negotiations that will lead to lasting peace and stability. In a statement, Prime Cabinet Secretary and Cabinet Secretary for Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, Musalia Mudavadi, said Kenya welcomes the peace process. Musalia maintaining that President William Ruto has maintained an nonpartisan position. He also denied that the summit aimed to form a parallel government. Give us Manyara, Sunday Express.
The government is crafting a tamper-proof recruitment process for uniformed officers. Defense Cabinet Secretary Soipan Tuya has revealed that once done, the standard process will be made public as government strives to rein in on constant claims of malpractice and favoritism while carrying out recruitment of KDF and other disciplines. Achola Simon with the details.
Claims of corruption and favoritism have in the recent years rocked recruitment into the disciplined forces, casting doubts on whether deserving Kenyans really get the opportunity to serve the nation.
Hapa kitu natusumbua sana CS ni hiyo nomination tuliambiwa ama appointments za vijana kuingia kwa defense. Hata ukiuliza hawa, unajua mtoto gani naona ngao wamekaa pale? Ni mtoto gani ambao mwaka jana aliweza kuingia defense forces? Hawezi kuambia. Sababu last time ujanja ilikuwa hapa, let me speak on this. And I raised this in parliament, na yule alikuwepo akaniassume.
Defense Cabinet Secretary Soipan Tuya says a remedy for this is in the offing.
Nataka kuhakikishia Wakenya ya kwamba tunazingatia kwa ukaribu sana kuhakikisha nafasi zote ambazo zinatokea za KDF na all the other security agencies zinagauliwa kwa usawa in an equitable fashion, now eliminating all the malpractices ambazo zimekuwa zikiendelea.
Tuya says once done, the blueprint shall be made public so as to restore confidence and professionalism in the recruitment process.
Na ule ukarabati ama ile procedure ambayo tutatumia kwa recruitment itakuwa in the public domain ili tuweze kuhakikisha kwamba there is transparency na kila Mkenya anaingia pale kwa uwanja kwa njia ya uwazi.
Tafadhali tunapoenda recruitment nyingine, sio tu ya armed forces, wala hata hizo zingine security as we talk to you. Remember tulidhulumiwa last time. And moving forward, tutakuwa marafiki wako wazuri sana.
Addressing faithfuls at Emachuli Church of God, Manyara, Vihiga County, during a funds drive for the church construction, Tuya also called for peaceful coexistence amongst Kenyans, regardless of their political differences.
Tuimarishe amani. Mimi nikiwa waziri wa ulinzi, ninaomba amani iweze kudumu. County security teams, put your hands together. Make sure we guard our security, the security of our country jealously.
Sisi tumeingia kwa serikali ya broad based. Tunataka tuendelee na maendeleo. Na ile kitu tunataka kwa nchi hii ni umoja na uhusiano mwema. Kwa hivyo sisi kama watu wa ODM tumesema kwamba tunafanya kazi na serikali ili tuhakikishe kwamba tunapata maendeleo kwa huu muda umebaki.
Achola Simon, Sunday Express, Vihiga County.
So if you have been a Girl Guide, what have you learned over the years and how have you applied what you learned in the course of your association, or rather being a member of the Girl Guide Association. Get tweeting on X at KBC Channel 1 as tonight we look at character development under the Girl Guide movement here in the country. Take a quick breather. We'll be right back.
Inuka na Lotomoto 2025 ni kujinua full kashamba kajuja mali safi worth 1.7 million Kenyan shillings na kamejiset kwa *570 hash na tushinde.com. Na ukiwahi sahau landlord, unaongezewa 1 million Kenyan shillings ya kujenga kwa shamba yako. Sema kuinuka na bado kuna nini hiyo side nyingine? Hapa ndio mwisho. Weekly draw ya chapa bado iko na zawadi pia ni za kuinua. Iko Probox new model moja ya kipekee tayari kukuserve kwa biashara yako ya 2025. Iko Master Demio, itu Sapien Sleek, ready kukuserve kwa machaji yako ya hapa na pale. Cheza mara kadhaa na uweze kujipatia entry tickets kibao na uboost chance yako ya kujishindia kwenye draw zetu. Na kama kawaida tutakubishia mahali popote uliko tukufikishie ushindi wako. Kila kona imejazwa kwa *570 hash option 2, 3 na 4 na tushinde.com. Na kwako ni kuinuka na Lotomoto.
Hii ni yako. Peke yako malisa, hakuna mtu mwingine anakuingililia. Toa hapa.
Mimi nimeogoja tafadhali. Ni ukule hiyo chakula. Unaonwa saa hii kula. Very good girl. Very good girl. What? Nini? Tuko na emergency. Ile emergency ya we.
Nipatie hiyo 200. Mama Kaya hii ndio wako nayo.
Mama Kaya nipatie 200. Mimi mutaharibu kazi yangu.
Chukua kunywa kama unataka.
Unaniruhusia maji?
Toka.
Unajua hapo unaweza ungua maji.
Mimi niko sawa, ongeza tu kuni hapa.
Unasikia nanuka kama Manyara?
It's so refreshing.
Refreshing?
Naipenda.
Welcome back. Now, non-governmental organization in Nairobi County is addressing the ongoing need for blood donation through a blood drive that is set to make a significant impact on countless lives. So on Sunday, the organization We Love You Foundation held a blood drive initiative at the Kenyatta National Hospital. Doreen Arange has the details.
Blood donation is a simple act, but its impact immeasurable. We Love You Foundation and partners organized a blood donation exercise at Kenya's largest referral hospital.
We're here at the Kenya National Blood Transfusion Center under the We Love You Foundation to donate blood under Mother's Love so that we can hope that everyone in Kenya can participate in this activity to help us save lives.
We're participating today at the Kenya National Blood Transfusion Center to donate blood as part of a worldwide blood drive that our foundation is holding.
Through the exercise that lasted a few hours on Sunday, 240 pints of blood were realized to assist patients in dire need of transfusion.
Our members have come together in the hope that our neighbors in life-threatening situations due to blood shortages can recover their health and lead vibrant lives.
We love you! We love you! The foundation says its mission is to do everything possible to boost supply at the National Bank. Doreen Arange for Sunday Express.
Now, it is a story of transformation and hope for thousands of residents of Lower Gatanga in Murang'a County, as a long-awaited water project finally brings relief to the arid region. For generations, families at Ithanga and Kakuzi Mitumbiri wards have endured unimaginable struggles in their search for clean drinking water. However, a 3.5 billion shillings project is set to improve their lives.
The sound of water flowing from this tap is like a soothing melody for residents of Ithanga and Kakuzi Mitumbiri wards on the lower region of Gatanga constituency in Murang'a County. Previously, they bore the brunt of searching for this precious commodity.
Niliingia huku mwaka wa 1986 na kutoka hiyo mwaka huwa tunaumia sana juu ya maji. Tulikuwa tunaenda kuchota maji mahali ng'ombe sinakunywa. Tunakuja tunaweka siku 2 ama 3 ndio ikuwe mzuri ya kunywa, lakini ilikuwa inadhuru watu wengi kwa maugonjwa tofauti.
But now it is a new dawn. Ithanga Water Project, initiated by Gatanga Water and Sanitation Company, a subsidiary of Athi Water Works Development Agency, at 3.5 billion shillings is set to benefit over 9,000 people here.
This is where we produce 6,000 cubic meters of water, transmitted a total of 39 kilometers of pipeline.
Tumeweza kuconnect watu 2,000 na tunatarajia ikifika mwezi wa 8 mwaka huu tutakuwa tumefikia ile kiwango.
The ripple effect of the water project extends beyond households. Schools in Ithanga, once crippled by the water crisis, can now focus on their core mandate.
Kila mahali hakukuwa na maji, kila mtu anakuja na mitungi. Sasa wanashindwa watafanya nini kama huko shuleni hakuna maji?
In fact, at one point we were not washing the classes because when they don't even have water at home, telling them to come with water from home was also an issue. So sometimes I could allow them not to come with water. Not to mention that at one time they could hardly get water to drink. And the little water they could get is from the dams which were not clean. In fact, at one incident, I got water that was even smelly.
Courtesy of the project, water is sourced from River Thika, purified and distributed across the region, ensuring a safe and consistent supply.
Major challenges that we are facing as we roll out this particular project. One is the climate change that has caused the water levels at our intake facility at Blue Post to be not very reliable, especially during the sunny season.
As taps continue to flow, residents are optimistic waterborne diseases will be a thing of the past.
We are really celebrating that we have clean water which is germ-free because it has chloride.
Mifuko yangu sipeleki kwa mto. Vile kulikuwa kusemekana ni upande ya njanga kama yata. Sasa sisi tunasema sasa tuko huru.
Constant water supply marks the end of an era of suffering over a commodity that is no longer a luxury but a basic right. Kamchemenza for Sunday Express.
Now to the counties, where security agencies in Homa Bay County are investigating the circumstances under which a fisherman drowned while fishing in Angalo Beach in Homa Bay town. The deceased, identified as John Okombo, aged 43, met his fate on Saturday morning while fishing with his brother. This and more in our county news round.
Reports indicate that Okombo lost his balance while aboard a boat due to a medical condition. Attempts to rescue him were unsuccessful. His body was later discovered in the day following a search conducted by fellow fishermen. A regional location chief, Bob Lango, urged fishermen to wear life jackets for safety.
They were with his brother where they were fishing, and when it occurred, it was very unfortunate that it was sudden, it mysteriously fell on the water. We cannot discern what really happened.
All fishermen fraternity, when going to the lake, they should wear life-saving jacket.
Meanwhile, a section of the business community and homeowners living along the border of Kiambu and Nairobi counties have held a sensitization exercise to curb illegal garbage dumping. During the event, Kabete Sub-County Environment Officer Wangari Mburu announced that all garbage collectors in the area will be licensed in order to expose unscrupulous individuals who have been dumping litter along the Nairobi-Nakuru highway.
We just want to make sure that people are educated on the importance of keeping a clean environment, but those people who are actually doing the dumping will have to be arrested and prosecuted accordingly.
Elsewhere, communities in the lower eastern region, along with security agencies, have agreed to restrict the movement of donkeys from Kithioko on the border of Machakos and Kitui counties to other regions. This move aims to curb the illegal trade of donkeys, which has been rampant in Kithioko, particularly in Masinga sub-county.
Na zile ambazo nyama hazijakaguliwa, ukiona picha zake zimebebwa na wheelbarrow ambayo iko ni chafu, zingine zinatolewa kwa mashimo. Ndio tunauliza public health, nani anapeana license? Nani anapeana hizi barua za kuuza nyama?
In Busia County, 7 traders from a fish market in Busia town are nursing serious injuries after being attacked by assailants armed with swords. The violence, which erupted on Saturday at around 5 p.m., is believed to be linked to a leadership dispute within the market.
Tunaumizwa tukijaribu kumake report, action inakuja polepole, hawatukimbilii kwa haraka, na wale vijana wamejipanga, wanajiita M23.
And Murang'a County Government, in collaboration with Benacare, has launched a mobile dialysis unit aimed at providing life-saving services to patients at the village level. The launch took place at Kirara Hospital, where Murang'a Governor Irungu Kang'ata announced that the unit will go around health facilities across the county, alleviating the agony of kidney patients in traveling long distances for treatment.
Itakuwa inaondoka kutoka health center moja to another health facility. Inamaanisha mtu hatatembea mahali mbali kuja kupata huu usaidizi. And for me, I think this is the right thing to do. It's a moral thing to do.
Finally, the Civil Society Reference Group has called on the government to fully implement the Public Benefit Organization Act, which regulates civil society organizations in Kenya. While announcing their election dates for 2025, the members emphasized that their efforts aim not only to re-energize the public, but also to hold the government accountable for its commitments.
The organizations in CSRG are not only what we're calling the public benefit organizations, we also have community organizations because we know power is devolved, and we want each local organization or within the communities, there must be that realization of sovereignty, and it can only come if there is somebody holding their hand and showing them what to do and channeling it in the right legal process.
Isadi ukija na sote tuko tayari, ukija mbele yako kanya.
Hii Mazademio iko kwa star 570 hash. Cheza sahihi ikiwa ni option 2, 3 na 4. Ama pia unaweza cheza kwa tushinde.com. Register, deposit na ucheze. Cheza wakati wowote na ucheze mara kadhaa ili kujaza entry ticket zako kwenye draw ya ushindi. Inuka na Loto Moto.
Hili yako peke yako malisa, hakuna mtu mwingine anakuingililia. Toa hapa.
Mimi nimeogoja tafadhali. Ni ukule hiyo chakula. Unaonwa saa hii kula. Haragod gal. Nini?
Tuko na emergency.
Ile emergency ya we.
Nipatie hiyo 200.
Mama Kaya ndio wako nayo.
Mama Kaya nipatie 200.
Mimi mutaharibu kazi yangu.
Chukua kunywa kama unataka.
Unaniruhusia maji?
Toka.
Unajua hapo unaweza ungua maji.
Mimi niko sawa, ongeza tu kuni hapa.
Unasikia nanuka kama Manyara?
It's so refreshing.
Refreshing?
Naipenda.
So welcome back. This is Sunday Express, and as I mentioned, today we're going to be looking at character development. I know in the social circles, when you say character development, well, it has a negative connotation. But here it's all about positivity, and we're looking at the Girl Guide movement. Taking this conversation further is none other than Betty Olo Anderson, who is a national board member and an advisor of the Bravo branch. Thank you very much, ma'am, for making time.
Yeah, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
So over 100 years, here in the country in particular, we have had the Guide movement. What has changed in 100 years? Any improvements?
Absolutely, yes. First of all, thank you for having me here. I'm very happy to be here to speak about this very important movement. So, over 100 years, Kenya Girl Guides Association was formed, and the founder, Lord Baden-Powell, was here in Kenya. And you can imagine a lot of the leaders we have, most of the leaders now, when I look at even the trustees of the Girl Guides, they were Girl Guides then. Mm-hmm. When I think about the chief commissioners, they were Girl Guides then. So you can imagine, obviously, it has built a lot of leaders in our country and empowered a lot of girls, and otherwise given life skills to many, many girls and who are now women in Kenya. I can say that's the progress that we've made.
Well, as a guide back then growing up, I fancied the uniform. This is why I actually joined the Girl Guide movement then. And if I can remember quite well, the motto was always be prepared.
Yes.
Now I'm seeing girls creating a better world. That's where we are.
Yeah.
And you're talking about leadership and skills. From where you sit, Madam Olo, what did you think this movement has brought to the table when it comes to character development and skills?
So at Kenya Girl Guides, we have our core values, and our core values are formed around the acronym DISC. And DISC stands for dignity, integrity, servant leadership, spirituality, and citizenship. So these are the core values that we instill in our girls. The Girl Guide movement has different branches, as you mentioned. From the year 3 years to 6 years old, they're called the Rainbows. Little girls, already so confident. We saw them during the Thinking Day, really confident performing for us. So 3 to 6 are the Rainbows, 6 to 9 are the Brownies, 9 to 12 are the Girl Guides, and then 12 to 18 are the Rangers. If you remember those
yes,
branches.
I actually made it all the way to the Rangers.
Yeah.
In high school.
Now, after the Rangers, they're young leaders. So that's the girls who are in university, really just starting out their career after graduation. So those are 18 to 35. Now, from 35 to 60, we launched a new branch. Kenya Girl Guides launched a new branch of guiding called the Bravos, which is where I fit in.
All right.
And these are women between the age of 35 and 60. And they were really launched to mentor, because one of the biggest things we do is mentor the younger girls. Then from 60 to beyond 60, there's the trefoil. The trefoil are the much senior, our seniors now. The women beyond 60 who have been in guiding, or who are guides, or who want to give wisdom to the younger women, which cascades down to the young leaders, and the young leaders now who are preparing for their future.
Clearly there's been a change, because we didn't have that bracket,
yeah.
The Bravos 35 to 60.
Yes.
Before we discuss the mentorship under this particular, can I call it grouping of guides, we have a lot of competing extracurricular activities, especially with our education calendar. As I said, what attracted me to guiding then was the uniform.
Yes.
I found it to be very chic, and I can say it still is. The competing factors right now, have they eaten into the popularity of this movement, or have you also reinvented yourselves to fit the 21st century, so to speak?
So with girl guiding, we have a phrase that we say: if it's not fun, it's not guiding.
All right.
So girl guiding is fun. I can give you an example for our branch. Let's say for our branch, there's a women between 35 and 60. And getting into the uniform, as you say, because everybody wants to be smart.
Yes.
Everybody wants to look like they have some order, and that's what attracts even the girls in schools.
Right.
I want to be smart. I want to raise the flag, for example. So despite that other social competing clubs, as you say. The guiding movement is quite broad. So you're looking at environment, you're looking at learning skills, life skills, whether it's crocheting, knitting, or baking, or cooking, or lighting up campfire. You know, those also compete with the other social activities. As I said, for the Bravo branch, for example, we went to Manyara for the World Thinking Day, but we did an activity for fun hiking. You can imagine some of us, maybe when was the last time I hiked? But this was a fun activity. So as I say, if it's not fun, it's not guiding, and that's what really, what can I say, attracts the girls. And the smartness and the confidence that some of the skills, under those core values, it builds confidence in the girls. Yes.
So Betty, what would you say for you as an individual has been a core skill that you have learned by being a guide?
So let me just start by saying I was a brownie, and then I became a girl guide, and then I became a ranger in high school. I wasn't quite a young leader, but when the Bravo branch was formed, I was already serving in Kenya Girl Guides Association. So I joined the Bravos, and that was so natural for me. And to me, I love service. And I can think that it's from the time I was a brownie up to now. That has led to even me being in bodies like Rotary as well. Because in guiding, you learn how to, as our promises, you know, to help other people at all times. Yes. And that comes naturally. If you are a girl guide, if you're a brownie, some of those values are instilled in you forever. So for me, that's what I'm a person who loves service through my work, through my community, and through even church. So I'm always ready to serve. Yes.
Now, the country witnessed quite the shake-up sometime last year during the finance bill there. And these were anti-finance protests led by the youth. The guiding movement, as you've said, it talks about, you know, obedience to the law, service, leadership skills. How can we marry, you know, the values that we're teaching our children in these particular movements, guiding and such, you know, to avert such or even improve, you know, better to articulate these issues, you know, when we have a problem with leadership and governance, how do we apply those values that we have learned in this particular movement?
So first of all, I'll start by saying that the Kenya Girl Guide Association is non-political, non-partisan. But I imagine that as an individual, if you're a young girl who has been a girl guide, has been a ranger, for example, or a young leader, there are certain values that you will have been instilled in you that will lead you to the correct kind of way to express yourself, the non-dangerous way, the non-partisan way to express your opinion and still make your point. So I believe that the young leaders or the girl guides have their own way of expressing or pushing an agenda or calling to action on certain issues in case of any, you know, disgruntlement with any system. So I believe that there are ways that you know, you have call to action, you have a walk, you know, so
less distractive.
Less distractive, if I can say that.
There's a report that was also released sometime last week that just showed that you know, drug and substance abuse is very rampant among the youth. Programs under the Girl Guide movement, what are you doing, you know, in your capacity? You've said even doing mentorship. What programs are you running to ensure that, you know, you correct this vice that is seemingly dogging this, you know, demographic?
Yeah. So the Kenya Girl Guide Association has different projects, and some projects funded by different donors, the Norwegians, UNICEF, USAID, EU. And I believe that there's a program in the schools to fight of fighting against substance abuse. Some of the guiding books. So when you have a Girl Guides club in a school, for example, some of the books that we use to teach about guiding have those already incorporated in them. So we believe that through guiding, we are averting some of these social ills that they are
so the programs and the books, there's material to
there's
support
material.
Then a quick question from our viewers is guiding open to anyone?
Yes.
Or do I have to start? I think they're asking in terms of, do you have to start at a young age? You said 3 to 6, or can I join somewhere along the way?
As I said, we have branches. I've given you the different branches. For example, now for you, I don't know whether you fall under the Bravos.
I'm under Bravo.
Under Bravos.
Yes.
And so all you have to do is, show your interest. Get in touch with KGGA, and then there's a training that you'll go through, and then there's an enrollment where you will be enrolled as a guide, and you start serving because it's about service.
So now, what's the process? I'm thinking of someone who'd want to learn and just be part of this particular movement for all the good reasons, that is. How long would the training?
The training is one-day training.
Is it? Oh, it's a one-day training.
It's a one-day training.
Are there monies that one should pay to actually become?
So membership, for example, for Bravo is 1,000 a year subscription.
Yeah.
But first, let me say that we have KGGA branches in all the counties.
Oh, so across all the 47?
Yes, across the counties. So there are commissioners in each counties, and through the county or the county government offices, you'll find any information on Kenya Girl Guides there, or even through our website. So for the Bravos is 1,000. But for the younger girls, it's much cheaper. 50 shillings, 100 shillings, depending on which branch a year. Yeah,
okay. So affordable. So down in Nyeri, there were some outcomes of this particular, weekend.
Yeah.
And one of them was that the Nyeri County has inked a partnership with your, I would want to say, brother association, that is the Kenya Scouts Association, to try and make Nyeri County guiding and scouting county internationally, so that now the county can be hosting, international functions relating to guiding and scouting, given that Lord Baden-Powell and Ovale Powell were the founders of this particular movement. From where you sit as a guide, what do you think what impact, other than just opening up the county, what impact will such a move have on the movement?
So, Nyeri is very synonymous with the, first of all, Kenya Girl Guides is part of the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl and Scouting movement, the WAGS. So it's a part of the global movement.
Yes.
And Nyeri is very synonymous because Lord Baden-Powell and Olive Baden-Powell were buried there. And 22nd of February, which was yesterday, is World Thinking Day. And it's a day that's commemorated worldwide to think about, service, what are you doing as an individual. And yes, there was a proposal, and I think the discussions are ongoing. This would be very big for Kenya.
Yes.
And for the guiding movement. It would be a center where conferences can be held and very close to the founder.
Yeah.
It would build a lot of, tourism as well. As it is, people come all the way to come and see the resting place of the Powells. So it's a very, very good idea, and this would mean a lot to the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts, and to Kenya Girl Guides Association and the Scouts as well.
Now, as you come to a close, one would ask, why would an adult want to be a member of the guide movement? You've introduced the bracket 35 to 60. Why would I, who has never been a guide all my life, why would I be inclined to?
I believe, besides besides the beautiful uniform, I believe at that age where we want to give back, and mostly want to give back in a structured way. We also want to mentor. We want to give back of our time and our resources, of what we've experienced in life up to there. It's a very natural process, and this is a very good movement to give back through. Mentorship. We know the way the world is today. Our youth need a lot of mentorship and guidance. This is what, if you're looking for a place to do this, the guiding and the scouting movement is it. So that's the main reason why. Giving back in a structured way, and as I said, fun. If it's not fun, it's not guiding. For women who are between 35 and 60, it's a place where you're not going to be a mother, a wife, a managing director. You're going to be a girl. And that's why we're still called the Bravo Girl Guides. Yeah, yes.
Very well said. That is quite interesting. I might actually sign up.
Yes.
Well, we have been speaking to none other than Betty Olo Anderson, who is the National Board Member, Bravo Branch, advisor there of the Kenya Girl Guide Association. And if it is not fun, well, it is not guiding. So there's a new bracket, so to speak, those aged 35 to 60, and you want to give back to community service. Well, this is something that you need to get onto. Now, as we bring this conversation on Sunday Express to a close, it will not be done and dusted until we've heard what has been happening in the sporting arena. Bohome is on the other side of the studio with those particular updates.
Here we go.
Cheer your favorite team and win big on MeChezobet.com. Casino, Aviator, and other crash games also available at MeChezobet. Sign up today. This message has been approved by BCLB license number 664. Gambling can be addictive. Play responsibly. Terms and conditions apply.
Technology has become a crucial part of our society. Without technological advancements, so much of our everyday lives would be drastically different. As technology develops, it strives to fulfill the changing needs of society. This means that technology exists to help us achieve the things that we wouldn't be able to achieve without it. Take on Tech looks at the advantages and downside of technological innovation in a world that is becoming increasingly dependent on new digital technologies. Every Monday at 10:30 p.m.
F 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifier against Gabon on the 24th of March as part of a test drive of the CAF African Nations Championship in August. The renovated National Stadium is one of these postponed African Nations Championship in the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations. Apologize for that technical hitch, but welcome to Sunday Express Sport. Now, the National Stadium will host the Harambee Stars Group F 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifier tie against Gabon on the 24th of March as part of a test drive ahead of the CAF African Nations Championship in August. The renovated National Stadium is one of the football grounds in the country that will host the postponed tournament and the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations.
The game between Harambee Stars and Gabon will be played at the Nyao National Stadium. This was confirmed at the end of a two-day inspection tour by a high-level CAF delegation led by Samson Adamu, who is the Confederation's Director of Tournaments and Events. Football Kenya Federation President Hussein Mohamed, who is also the Vice Chairman of Kenya's local organizing committee for the Africa Nation Championship and 2027 Africa Cup of Nations, confirmed that discussions are underway to have more test matches at the Nyao National Stadium and the Kasarani Stadium, which will host the CHAN tournament from August 2nd to 30th and also the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations. Harambee Stars currently lie fourth in Group F of the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers with 5 points from 4 matches, behind Ivory Coast with 10 points, Gabon with 9 points, and Burundi with 7 points. The other teams in the group are Gambia, who have 3 points, and Seychelles, who are yet to earn a point from the qualifiers.
The emphasis has always been on the infrastructure, which I think is now 90% ready to just go. So now the focus now shifts to the softer side of the event, means planning, the committees, and the marketing, and all the comms, and the ticketing, and accreditation. So that's where our next emphasis will be on. So come first match, we will now go into full gear to bring in the softer side of the event.
If you go to Kasarani, the beach is super. You cannot believe that it's a Kasarani that people used to complain about. Generally, even the dressing rooms in both venues are up to the international standards. So we are very satisfied with the work that we have done so far with the support of KTF and particularly the Ministry of Sports.
Group winners will qualify directly for the 2026 Africa Cup of Nations to be played in USA, Mexico, and Canada, with the 4 best group runners-up meeting in playoffs with other confederations to pick further teams that qualify.
Well, let's talk about rugby, where the Kenya National Rugby 7th team Shujaa is currently playing Ireland in the 11th place playoff match at the Vancouver 7th, which is the 4th leg of the World Rugby 7th Series. Kenya was relegated to the 11th place playoff after losing 19-14 to Uruguay in the 9th place semi-final. Shujaa has had a difficult outing in Canada, suffering defeats in all their 3 pool matches. They began Vancouver with a 24-0 loss to Argentina before going down heavily 33-7 against France. They wrapped up their pool matches with a 28-10 loss to Great Britain, ending their hopes of finishing in the top 8. Spain, Argentina, South Africa and Fiji are the contenders of the Vancouver Main Cup.
Can he get there? He's going to crawl his way in. Well executed line out, although they've gone a long way infield. Rest of the pitch to work with. They go out wide, one-on-one battle, and he's won it, hitting it at pace for his second try. Floyd Walbert, what a run.
And Sports Principal Secretary Peter Toom has challenged sports federations to create development pathways to ensure that Kenyans succeed in all sporting disciplines. Toom was speaking at the award ceremony of the 2025 Magical Kenya Open that came to a close today at the Par 71 Bodega Golf Club and was won by South African Jacques Kruijswijk. The 2025 Magical Kenya Open was a mix of outcomes for Kenyan golfers that captured the attention of the State Department for Sport. No Kenyan golfer made the cut on Friday, but on Saturday, 3 Kenyan junior golfers beat professional golfers in a closest to the pin competition at the Par 3 13th hole at the Muthaiga Golf Club, which hosted the event. Sports Principal Secretary Peter Toom has called for a conversation to ensure that the government's investment in prize money benefits Kenyan golfers.
And I have instructed Kenya Golf Union to immediately start a conversation with government to see how we can again reintroduce the tour that you people had last year, the other year before, so that we can be able to nurture that talent and make you pros like everybody else.
South African Jacques Kruijswijk won the event, taking home the trophy and the winner's prize money of 54.38 million shillings after rounds of 69, 66, 64 and 67 for a total of 18 under par 266.
Special, you know, to get my first win on African soil is unbelievable. You know, the support this week has been insane. The Kenyan people are friendly, they're fantastic. I felt a lot of love out there, and it carried me through the whole round. So I can't be more thankful enough for everybody that supported me this week.
England's John Parry finished second on 16 under par 268, while South African Dion Gameshoes finished third on 13 under par 271.
Always tough, you know, there's no room for error out there, and they just got to, it just wasn't quite good enough on the day, but just very happy with it.
And Rajveer Tati and Harpreet Singh Bogai were among winners of the second round of the Shell Autocross Championship that was held today in Kiambu County. A total of 40 drivers competed in today's event.
Rajveer Teti won the four-wheel drive class during the second round of the Shell Autocross Championship that saw hundreds of motorsport fans cheer at the Twisty 2 track circuit. Harpreet Singh Bogai won the two-wheel drive turbo buggy category. Neil Gohil won the open class, while Jose Sardinia was crowned champion of the four-wheel drive non-turbo.
We decided to go for the youth. So we identified youth, about 4. We're looking at 4 to 6. And we started walking the journey with them. From some of them 8 years going up. And why? Because we believe if we grow with the youth, if we support this youth in the motorsport, then we will be producing world-class drivers, not in so long.
Cheche Ababu, Cadet Jr., Alan Bengi, Beta Jr., and Sean Njumbi were also winners of the day.
In every sport, it's consistency, it's practice, it's exercise. So those who are starting younger today have, of course, a better chance of shining as long as they remain consistent. And that's why we want to work with them in the journey. We don't want them to drop off. And this autocross, maintaining it and making sure it runs the full calendar and is sustained. And basically, it's something very critical, not only for us here and for the motorsport community, for the country.
The one-day event attracted 40 drivers.
And that's the sport for tonight. So let's see how Kenya performs against Ireland, and also as we look ahead to the week that's coming up. As far as sports is concerned, and tomorrow morning, bright and early 10 a.m., Sports Check will be having a conversation, one about swimming for seniors. That is people who are over 50. We also are going to be having a conversation about a sport that is known as foot volley. Think of beach volleyball, but played with the feet, and also sports psychology. My name is Daniel Wahome. Back to you, Regina.
Thank you very much, Wahome, for what we are to expect tomorrow as we discuss matter sports and also bringing up to speed with what is happening in the sporting arena. So tomorrow, as we embark and start on another week, we're going to be keeping tabs on the security situation along the Kenya-Ethiopia border, given that particular issue on security with where fishermen, an unknown number, is still unaccounted for there. We'll be keeping tabs on that, as well as focusing on services rendered under SHA, especially those on inpatient in private hospitals, given the promise by the Rural and Urban Private Hospitals Association of Kenya, RUFA, to withdraw services from patients under the Social Health Authority commencing tomorrow due to government's failure to pay an outstanding debt of over 30 billion shillings. I'm Regina Manyara. My colleague on sign language has been none other than Byron Abuli. I wish you a pleasant week ahead.
kashamba, kajuja, mali safi. Worth 1.7 million Kenyan shillings na kamejiset kwa star 570 hash na tushinde.com. Na ukiwai, unaongezewa 1 million Kenyan shillings ya kujenga kwa shamba yako. Na bado, kuna nini hiyo side ingine? Hapa ndio mwisho. Weekly draw ya chapa bado iko na zawadi pia ni za kuinua. Iko Probox new model, iko Master Demio. Cheza mara kadhaa na uweze kujipatia entry tickets kibao na uboost chance yako ya kujishindia kwenye draw zetu. Kila kona imejazwa kwa star 570 hash option 2, 3 na 4 na tushinde.com na kwako ni kuinuka na Lotto Moto.
Hello good people, this is Dr. Joseph Remy and this is Save a Life Organization. Tunazidi kubadilisha maisha Kenya nzima. Tutembea in all the 47 counties. Na leo tuko Tharaka County. Ukuja kutembelea Ken Joseph Mureithi Matthews. Na majina Ken Joseph Mureithi Matthews. Ile ziko kwa kipande. Ken Joseph Mureithi Matthews. He's around 23 years. But you gonjwa imemsukuma sana because for the last I think almost 4 years. Miaka ngapi sasa? Miaka 4. Amekuwa na tumor. But Save a Life tulikuja hapa. Tulikuwa tukisimama naye for the last I think more than a year. And there is huge transformation. Huge transformation. And God has been faithful. And thank you for your support. Kila wiki ama wiki mbili ananipigia narudi hospitali. Like last week nilikuwa hospitali na akaambiwa watafanya surgery, apigwa scans. Scans zishafanywa, unarudi kufanya?
Sijafanya, nitarudi kufanya.
Unarudi kufanya. Unarudi kufanya lini? 24th of February. So it has been a long journey. It's not easy, but God has been faithful. Personally, nilisema sita give up na Ken. The tumor was huge, was big. But now unaona nimefanya matibabu, imepungua, daktari amesema anaweza fanya surgery. Mungu ni mwema. So tuzidi kufanya kazi ya Mungu pamoja. Remember that service to humanity is service to God. And before we go to story ya Ken, I want to celebrate wale watu tumekuwa nao. For example, last week nilikuwa kutembelea ule tunamuita Charles. Charles alikuwa na tumor. Haiwezi jua tumor ilikuwa side gani. This Charles, huge transformation, and this is what we are doing. Gedi Arege, salimia tena. I'm happy. Unajua nimekuangalia, mimi sijajua ni side gani. Hata sasa hivi
huwezi mpaka nikuambie. Mpaka nikuambie.
Mungu ni mwema.
Sababu hata mwema zaidi ya sana. Zaidi.
Wow. To be honest, mimi siwezi jua ni side gani ilikuwa na timu.
Huwezi jua. Hata mimi mwenyewe saa ingine nasahau ni pande gani.
Lazima unashindwa ni side gani.
Lazima kwanza nifikirie ilikuwa ni pande gani.
Mungu ni mwema.
He is very happy. He is overjoyed and he is saying ni Mungu tu ametenda. Charles has been given another chance to live, to rejoice and to testify the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Now, we don't know what to say. In short words, let me say thank you. God bless you, God do you good, and continue doing good.
Nataka kumutumikia
That is Charles, huge transformation. God has been faithful. Save a Life tunazidi kubadilisha maisha. Kenya nzima. Mungu tulikuwa kule Kisii County. Kisii ndo tulipata jamaa aitwa Mogaka. Pia nataka uone Mogaka. Huge transformation. What Save a Life is doing. And God has been faithful. Watch this.
Kabisa. Endeleaje? Tumekuja nyumbani, mama tunakuja. Uko salama? Mungu ni mwema. Yaani nimependa kuona hii kitu ilienda. Mungu ni mwema Mogaka. Mungu ni mwema. Niko kuonia. Mungu ni mwema. Huge transformation. Nimekaa hapa Mogaka, utuambie wewe unaendelea.
Before nilikuwa pia kule Kibra. Na unakumbuka nilikuwa na Debra. Tulifanya surgery ya kwanza, it was successful. Saizi na hili vizuri, daktari amesema turudi theater tunafanya surgery nyingine. So this Debra na mzidi kumwombea, and you can see the huge transformation, even the smile. And this is what we are doing, me and you. Tuzidi fanya kazi ya Mungu pamoja.
Naimba sasa haleluya, kwa msalaba nimepata kutoka katika utumwa, nimeokoka na furaha, na dhambi zangu zimetoka.
Nafurahia hizo fungu ilitolewa, sasa niko sawa, natembea. Narudisheni asante, wale walisaidia. Asante, mbarikiwe. At least sasa nafurahia. Sijui niongee nini. Kwa sawa sasa. Nimeona nirudi shule. Watu nawapenda.
Tuzidi kubadilisha maisha ya watu pamoja. Service to humanity is service to God. Leo niko Tharaka Nithi na niko na Ken Joseph Mureithi Matthews. Majina hapa, jina kwa wingi. Yako na jina 3 za kizungu. Nilisema personally I give up na Ken Mureithi. Nisijafika hapa, but my team was here. Kasema leo lazima nifike nione vile inaendelea, and I can say God has been faithful. So Ken,
yes,
habari yako?
Nzuri.
Nataka uongee na wale watu wajai kuona. Utuambie jina lako na utuambie vile unaendelea.
Mimi naitwa Joseph Mureithi. Nilikojeka kansa kutoka 2020. Ilianzia tu kama kapimpo kandogo, ikaenda ikikuwa kubwa. Naendanga Kenyatta.
Na maybe ni interject kidogo. Wale maybe wako wameona Ken before. I'll give you a highlight before when alikuwa, because my team was here, so that you can see the huge transformation and now what needs to be done next. But for now, watch this.
Jina langu naitwa Ndole Kanya Matthews kutoka Tharaka Nithi Chela. Kuna miaka 4 atiritirwo abarajipatia kalengi karundi tena, tukaenda Njeno Suka, tukaenda Meru, tukaenda Isiala, tukaenda Kenyatta, akatiritwa akapona, karundi tena. Na sasa kuna kipindi huku Kenyatta kinataka pesa nyingi na hatuna. Na sasa hata chakula nisinda kuona chakula nisinda. Niyo kipimo tu tunangojea hiyo alipimo Ndio tunangojea na ilitoka. Sasa ni pesa ya kuchukua hiyo kifini, alafu arundi huko tena.
Nabii mama za tuelezea, tuambie bi shida tuelezea venye inakaa. Tunaelekea kwa mwezi, tuelezea venye inakaa.
Ni kufura tu. Pantu pandogo sana. Ikaenda. Hata ikamuka. Sasa hii ni kidonda hii.
Ni kidonda iko hapo. Kwa hivyo ilianza kitu kidogo sana.
Hii kitu kidogo tu. Ikafura. Ikafika hapo unaona, lakini kafura.
So after kwenda Kenyatta mliambiwa aje?
Ni wanapika pizza tu. Hakuna kitu kingine. Hata walimtoa hiyo kifini iko huko, walimtoa wakapeleka hospitali ingine. Na huko ndiko kifini kiko. Sasa tu ni pesa ya kutoa hiyo na kuenda huko tena.
Kwa hivyo aliambiwa anaweza fanyiwa surgery itolewe.
Siku ingine analianga kulia tu usiku wote. Ana ushungu sana. Siku ingine tena ni mzuri kama saa hii. Tena hata utaki hata kumshikia kama kumuona na macho.
Kwa hivyo inakuanga uchungu.
Uchungu sana.
Hii mama zotaza baby, ni kazi gani unafanyanga huku nyumbani? Ni kazi gani unafanyanga?
Kulima tu. Hata sasa si kulima vizuri sababu hakuna fertilizer, hakuna cha kupanda. Hivyo hata hiyo mbuzi unasikia hapo, kuna grupu tulikuwa tunafanya, ndio ilinunua hiyo mbuzi kaleta this week. Hata ukienda hapo unaona hata hiyo nyumba ni ya kujenga saa hivi, na ni grupu ilifanya, si mimi. Hata nilitoka sababu hakuna pesa, hiyo yote grupu nilitoka.
Na pia uko na mgonjwa nyumbani.
Ni mgonjwa utatirita ama ni kundi.
Maybe mom, tueleze maybe unakonga na matumaini mtoto wako atapona?
Niko nayo. Sababu najua Mungu ndiye anaponya. Daktari anapeana dawa, Mungu ndiye anaponya. Hiyo najua. Na nina haki atapona. Atapona.
Shida gani mmekuanga nazo hapa nyumbani?
Challenge nyingi sana sana, hata kwa familia. Hao wanaona hapo tena ni kwa hata nini. Hata ukisikia mambo ile inaongozwa na watu, hata kama sijui Mungu, hata tumeshindwa kabisa. Tumeshindwa. Hata chakula kuku ni sinda. Hata kuna siku papa yake alienda huko, kaniambia naenda kupata mtani nyonge. Alisindwa, akaona hakuna mambo mengine. Nikamwambia hakuna, ni kungojea Yesu afanye kazi yake. Na nashukuru Mungu sababu alifanya. Saa hii nashukuru Mungu, hata ikuwa ni sinda, Mungu namuona na macho yangu. Namshukuru sana sababu hapo tumefika ni yeye. Hata hapo pengine tunamungonja. Na tunajua atatusaidia. Sababu tunamjua. Alisema ni alipa na Omega, nienda Gitale. Hata pia aliponya wa zamani, hata sasa anaponya. Alisema hakuna mambo ngumu kwake. Hivyo najua.
Anafanyanga kazi gani?
Masoning. Fanya masoning. Na sasa unaona sasa ni mzee. Leo hakuna kuitangwa tu, ni siku mbili moja tu akarudi hapa.
Mama uko na watoto wangapi? Uko na watoto wangapi?
5.
Huyu ndiye last born.
The last born.
Kuna maybe kuna siku umesikia uko chini sana, ukaona yenyewe pia wewe na shida imekuzidia. Ukaona yenyewe uendelee. Kuna siku kama hiyo imekufikia?
Ile sababu ile siku ya mwisho kuenda Kinyesa ni mimi nilikuwa naye. Tukienda huko tukaambiwa turudi tena. Nilisema sasa nimeacha vile Mungu anataka atake, sababu hatuna tikiti ya kutoka huko Kenyatta. Hakuna pesa ya kulipa hiyo
kadi
kifimi. Hiyo
kipimo.
Nikalia huko ndani ya hiyo hospitali, nikalia. Nikamaliza kulia, nikapigia brother yangu simu, akanitumia tikiti saa 12. Tulikuwa Kenyatta. Nikalia. Alafu akanitumia pia, alafu tukalipa hiyo deposit ya 4,000. Ndio hiyo tukaanza huko. Alafu akatutumia tikiti tukarudi. Tulifika huko saa 5 ya usiku. Tukalia sisi wote. Tukaambia Mungu ni wewe tu. Tunaomba sana. Kuomba tunaomba. Sali nyingi tu, lakini sisi nasi tunajua Mungu hapo ndiye anatusaidia. Tukalia. Hata Yesu alitoka huko Kenya, Thursday ndio alitoka huko. Nikimwona niko pale kwa duka. Nikauliza Mungu, mimi sitapona, ni mimi nakupa mbele ya haki. Nikaenda huko kwa saba. Nikalia. Alafu takinga chaza Mungu akanipa. Nikaanza kuomba. Nikaomba rosari. Alafu nikarudi tena. Nikarudi sasa. Hata hawakujua vile nilikuwa. Nikaomba na Mungu akanisikia. Nikarudi tena. Hata saa hiyo najua kila siku anaenda kula njano. Hata leo lazima aende sababu akae hivyo. Lazima aende.
Kufanyiwa dressing.
Afanyiwe dressing. Kila siku maana 5 ama 6 na hatuna ni kuomba tu omba tu brother sana kuomba tu kuomba.
Kwa hivyo kila siku ni 600 kufanyiwa dressing.
Najua atapanda pikipiki, hata hakuna mtu atampeleka sababu hakuna tikiti. Na unaona huyo hapaswi kuenda peke yake. Ataenda sababu hakuna tikiti ya kuenda General.
Kwa hivyo anatembea kutoka hapa mpaka General. Basi ni mbali?
Ni mbali tu. Ukiona hiyo 500 ataenda pekee sababu ataenda na tikiti ya 100 kuenda na hiyo ingine kurudi 100. Hiyo ingine atalipa huko kwa hospitali 200 na kununua hiyo na hakuna kitu kingine.
Bibi, kuna watu familia na kusaidianga
kwetu brother yangu yangu si brother yangu hata kwa gari hiyo siku walitoka huko, kuna gari walipanda wakatoa
akamtoa
wakamtoa kwa sababu ya hata sasa mbundani sinda kumpepa hata sinjua akienda hospitali sasa ni kukomboa ngali tu mtu walikataa walikataa kumpepa hiyo siku walitoka hospitali.
Ni venye inatoa nini mbaya.
Hata ni Msamaria mwema waliona huko hospitali alikuwa na sister yake anatoa huko hospitali wakampepa na gari hiyo yae ni wasera walifika huko kwao alafu wakamleta hapa. Ni Msamaria mwema tu. Kupanda ngari sasa ni shinda.
Hivyo alipanda matatu wakaona hawezi mbeba wakamtoa.
Hata kibikibi sasa hata hiyo ni shinda sasa. Sinjui lakini Mungu atajua.
Okay.
Hata kukaa naye ni shinda sababu ana uchungu sana. Hata mimi silali nalala tu kusikia vile anaendelea sababu nikilala akisikia njaa au akisikia kiu ananiita, akisikia kunywa, akisikia kula kitu ni mimi anaita. Sasa tukiwa hapa wengi ni mimi anaita. Sasa mimi nimeshindwa tu. Nimeshindwa. Hata ukiniona hivi ninakaa nilikuwa hivyo. Na sasa unaona. Nilishindwa tu. Na saa ile kwa hospitali nilikuwa nasikia vizuri sababu najua anatibiwa, najua ako na Mungu, lakini tuko hapa wote, hata kula ni shida, hata nikiona chakula mimi nikashindwa nikula.
Ungetaka Wakenya wakusaidia aje? Mnaenda kutazama, ungemwambia aje pia ndio akusaidie?
Nataka wanisaidie wanipelekee hospitali apate matibabu, apone, arudi. Na akirudi nitamshukuru Mungu. Hata hao watamsaidia nitawashukuru tu, sababu hakuna kitu kingine niko nacho. So nitawaombea Mungu awasaidie. Kuomba najua. Najua kuomba. Hata kushukuru Mungu najua. Hata watu wakuku wananitukana kusema Mungu ako chini saensi. nikisema hivyo wanaona kama sina uchungu kukaa na kusema Mungu ako kwa kiti sayansi, na kuna wengine hawataki kusikia hiyo mambo wakaona sina uchungu. Nifanye ningeita nani? Ningemuita nani juu yake? Si Mungu tu. Hata nikiita babangu atanisaidia, hata nikiita mamamu atanisaidia. Ni pesa tu, na unajua pesa ni Mungu anaponya. Daktari anapesana matibabu, lakini kuponya ni Mungu. Na sababu najua Mungu ndiye anaponya, lazima nikae nikimuita kila saa tu. Najua hata yeye kamwambia daktari wanapeana dawa, lakini kuponya ni Mungu.
Nafaa mtegemee Mungu.
Mungu tu. Na asaidie wale wako na pesa watoe, nitawaombea.
Again, nawakumbusha tuko Tharaka Nithi County, place inaitwa Chera. Na tunakuja kutembelea kijana mmoja tu Muriithi, na alikuwa na shida for some time. Kuna growth hapa. And kitu sikia story yake vile imekuwa. Na nawakumbusha tuna paybill ni ile iko hapo kwa screen, account number tumia jina Muriithi. And God will bless you kusupport Muriithi. Muriithi, unapenda tuambie majina yako alafu tuambie shida ilianza vipi?
Naitwa Ken Muriithi. Kidonda ilianzia kukiwa kwa kitu kadogo sana. Ilikuwa kama pimpo hivyo. Ikaendelea kukua kubwa. Ikafika mahali ikatoboka ikawa kidonda. Nikaenda hospitali Kenyatta, nikatibiwa. Kurudi nyumbani kukaa kaanzia tena. Sasa hii imekuwa kubwa sana, sina hadi usaidizi yoyote. Naomba tu mtu anisaidie chenye ako nayo. Nimeshindia vitu vingi sana.
Hivi ni shida gani umepata kuwa na hii ugonjwa?
Kuumwa sana. Hata usiku silali. Ni uchungu kukua mwingi. Inabidi naenda hospitali kila siku na sina hata fare ya kwenda. Wakati mwingine naenda tu miguu.
Nimeona place unaenda ni mbali sana. Mbona place unaenda ni mbali?
Unaenda si mbali. Na hata kwa gari nikipanda saa ingine naambiwa nitoke juu na vile kidonda inanuka. Sasa inabidi saa ingine natembea na boda na nalipa pesa mingi juu inabidi naenda na private.
Shida gani zingine umekuwa nazo huko nyumbani mkiwa na mama?
Shida tu hiyo ya uchungu na pesa hakuna hata ya kulibaia hata chakula.
Mama ameniambia ati kuna watu huko mimi majirani, mimi mtu mnajuana, wanaonyanga vibaya kuwahusu.
Wanasema eti nikulogwa nililogwa. Wengine wanasema ni laana, lakini tunajua Mungu yuko.
Neno ni uchungu. Unasikiangaje kusikia ati venye wanaongea vile kujua wewe ni ugonjwa ilikupata? Unajua ni uchungu. Na unasikiangaje kusikia ati venye wanaongea unajua ni ugonjwa ilikupata?
Unasikia kama vibaya sana.
Kwa siku umefika, nasikia umefika mwisho.
Wakati mwingine nasikia kama naweza hata jibada.
Hebu tueleze.
Wakati mwingine inabidi ninakaa siku mingi bila sijatengenezewa na hakuna pesa. Ninashindwa sana nitafanyaje, nitaambia nani? Na wazazi hawana pesa, sina wengine wa kuambia.
Ndio venye umekaa na mama na baba kwa venye unaona hii kitu inawasumbua aje? Hii ugonjwa wake imewasumbua aje?
Wasumbua sana juu hata hawana pesa, ni kuomba tu. Na kila kitu ni pesa, kila kitu ni pesa. Hakuna mwenye ameajiriwa, hata wanakaanga tu hapa nyumbani. Nataka mtu anisaidia na yenye yako nayo, hata kama ni shilingi moja tu. Nikipata nikiona nimerudia hiyo hali ya kawaida nitafurahia sana. Juu kuteseka nimeteseka sana. Kukaanga kila time nikiwa nimelala niko kwa nyumba.
Maybe tuangalie ile kamera. Mwambie mtu anakuona, mwambie ungetaka kusaidika vipi?
Ningetaka tu mtu anisaidie na yenye yako nayo. Nikiona tu nimerudia hali yangu ya kawaida niendelee na kazi yangu, nitafurahia sana. Nasikianga vibaya sana nikiwa nimelala watu wakiaso huko. Nasikianga vibaya sana nikiwa tu nategemea wazazi wangu na niko na nguvu.
Uko fanya kazi gani?
Nilikuwa nafanya kazi ya boda. Nilikuwa najitafutia chakula na riziki. Sasa ningekuwa nimeendelea mbali sana. Lakini sasa unaona hata nyumba yangu ilibomoka na sina wa kunijengea. Niomba tu mnisaidie.
So Ken, umesema ugonjwa ilianza 2020. So you have been sick for the last 4 years. Hiyo jani imekuwaje? Najua haijakuwa rahisi.
Imekuwa kubwa sana, imekuwa shida tupu. Sababu pesa, kila mahali nikienda ni pesa. Na hiyo pesa sasa ndio shinda.
Najua haijakuwa rahisi. Kuna watu wengine pia, marafiki wengine walitoroka. Pia kuna watu familia ukiwapigia wanaona, ukiona simu yako wanaona hii. Hata mimi naonanga simu najua hii. Nikiona tu Ken amenipigia najua hii.
Nataka pesa.
Mimi kuna watu wanapigia hiyo hata wachukue simu zako.
Ama inese naambiwa namba ni busy.
Namba ni busy. So maka kuna marafiki wamekupotea.
Wengi sana.
So imekuwaje hiyo jana? Najua haijakuwa rahisi. Unaweza tupea experience.
By the way, sasa hiyo niko na marafiki wengine. Nilikuwa na watu walitorokea.
Unaona hiyo ugonjwa imekuwa too much. Niendesha tu pesa.
Juu nikipiga simu wanajua hiyo sio salamu. Anataka pesa.
Na si kupenda kwako because pesa zinahitajika. Lazima uende hospitali, lazima madawa, lazima transport.
Kila mahali ni pesa.
Ni pesa. Lakini nashukuru hiyo mambo yamesimama na wewe. Mama amesimama na wewe. Utaweza mwambia?
Amesimama na mimi.
Mwambie hiyo mama.
Mwambie asante.
Najua unajifungianga saa zingine pale kwa ile nyumba, unasikia unalia peke yako. Ni kitu gani hukujia kwa akili yako unalia peke yako?
Wakati mwingine naangalia mabeshte yangu venye wanaendelea. Nakumbuka tu vile nilikuwa tu mtu mzuri. Maisha yenye nilikuwa napiga, sikuwa na shughuli mbaya. Sasa hadi kuna mahali kwingine siwezi enda. Wakati mwingine ukifika mahali kuna watu wengine wanaenda. Unapata wakati mwingine kuna njaa, lakini siwezi tafuta chakula. Na nilikuwa na nguvu ya kutafuta mbele, nilikuwa najitafutia. Lakini saa hii mpaka nitegemee.
Siku nyuma kurudisha nyuma sana.
Siku nyuma sana.
Na kuna kitu mtu ashai kusema ikakuuma sana, ukasikia uchungu. Kuna kitu mtu ashai sema ile wa familia, marafiki.
Wengine wanasema eti amelogwa, amelaaniwa. Huyo hata mgonjea huyo hatapona. Kansa haiponangi.
Kuna watu wanasema hivyo. Wow.
Hadi kugonjeka mahali kwingine, lakini kansa
sikia
inaua.
It is painful. Sikia kuna marafiki, watu wa familia, ndio wanasema wewe huwezi pona. Kansa ni ngumu sana kupona. You know that is killing someone. So it's bringing someone down. You don't want courage. Unasikia tu. Kuna watu wengi sana wamepona kansa. I know people. Wengine kwa serikali wamekaa miaka mingi wamepona kansa. Kansa watu wanapona wanaishi miaka mingi. Miaka mingi zaidi. I have close friends. It's very bad. In fact, it's unethical, not godly. You discourage someone akiwa mgonjwa. Ati afadhali ugonjeke kitu ingine si kansa. Kansa unaenda. It is painful. But we are here to support Ken. Tuambia akona second chance. Ataishi. That's why tuko hapa. Nimetoka all the way from Nairobi for my busy schedule to come support Ken here. Because I believe we do our part, ni Mungu tunachia Mungu. And we'll pray that Ken will live to testify. And for me, ukiangalia pictures zake before, you can see the pictures before and now. Huge transformation. Why? Because there is God in heaven. Let's not discourage people who are, you know, if you belong to a certain community, you have someone who is sick, either a neighbor or a relative, don't bring them down. Encourage them. Support them. Support them. And Ken, don't shy away kuambia utapona. No, I'm sure you'll be a testimony. Na mimi kitu umenifurahisha na mmehoga ukifight. Mama nipigia niko huku. Nimeenda hospitali. Leo narudi hospitali. Mimi unifurahisha sana because pia wewe ukujifungia hapo uka give up na life. Una pia future. Unazidi kupigana. So continue doing that. And tuasamaga we do a part in tuachia Mungu. Na kuomba Mungu. Mimi najua inawezekana and so far so good and usikie hivi tu kama hizo. I know it's very hurting, inakuleta chini, but I know it is possible. Sawa. So wale wajiona Ken before, tuko Tharaka Nithi. Ken has been sick for the last 4 years. Ulisema ilianza aje?
Ilianza tu kama kapimbi.
Kidogo tu.
Kapimbi kidogo. Kaenda kikuwa kubwa. Kaendelea hivyo. Kafika mahali kabasti. Kaanza kutoa damu. Kuwa kubwa sana sasa hivi kuisha imeisha. Nashukuru Mungu.
Nataka utueleze zile changamoto umepitia na hii ugonjwa.
Unajua imekuwa hata hospitali ukienda, kila mahali ukienda ni pesa. Nikienda hospitali naendanga Kenyatta. Bora tu nikuwa na pesa nitapata matibabu. Lakini bila pesa kuna matibabu. Pande mwingine naambiwa ni dawa, ninunue dawa na sina pesa.
Cancer is draining. Cancer is a monster. Ina drain resources. Ina kudrain. Inafanya mpaka marafiki wapotee. Some family members wasikia mpaka wachukui simu. Cancer is a monster. We are here to support Ken. Nasikia Kena mahali pote ni pesa. Kila kitu ni pesa. Dawa ni pesa, transport ni pesa, hospitali ni pesa, everything ni pesa. Chakula zinafaa kukula ni pesa. He's not working. Mama hana kazi, wapa nyumbani. And as you know, kupata pesa hapa si rahisi. Pesa hapa kupata nyumbani ni ngumu.
Pesa? Pesa huko ni shinda.
Jota mama na
hata ukienda kibarua unalipa 200 siku mzima. Na pesa yenye inahitajika kwa hospitali ni pesa mingi. 200 itasaidia kweli.
Na sasa mtu kama wewe saizi una nguvu ya kibarua.
Siwezi fanya kibarua mimi mpaka madhe na baba waende. Na bado hiyo 200 ndio tunategemea kukula.
It's sad. This is a sad reality. Mama akitoka akienda kazi akipata kibarua ikipatikana anapata 200. 200 ndio chakula, ndio madawa, ndio transport yenyewe kutoka hapa, kutoka Tharaka Nithi kwenda mpaka Kenyatta atumia 1,000. Si ndio? Na hiyo chakula aja tupa kidogo kwa mdomo, ajanunua dawa, kwenda tu na kurudi.
Na consultation nalipa 1500.
Consultation unajalipa consultation. Hiyo ni 1500. Ujaenda kuchukua madawa. Na sasa saizi kile tumeambiwa surgery inaweza fanywa. Kuna scan tunafaa kufanywa. So money is needed. That's why tuko hapa. But kitu nafurahia ni kuona that transformation. You have seen his pictures before and now. That is motivation enough to continue supporting him. And may God bless you for your sacrifice. We don't give because we have a lot. That's why I request you to support whatever you have. 100 shilling, 200, 1,000, 30 bob, 50, 10. Ile Mungu amekupea because kutoa ni from your heart. Whatever you have, huwa baraka to Ken Moreithi. Ken, hapa tuko na Wakenya. Nataka waelewe daktari alisemaje.
Daktari alisema nipigwe picha. CT scan na MRI. Lakini huko Kenyatta watu ni wengi sana mpaka siku yako ifike. Ndio nilimbuku date 24. Kaambiwa niende nipigwe picha. Ndio nikipelekea daktari. Ndio sasa atajua venye nitafanyiwa surgery.
So if you understand this story that after now the investigation, the scan and the MRI, after kufanywa surgery. So what I mean is that money is needed. That's why we are here to request you to support Ken. It's a great opportunity to serve God. Ukiwa pale nyumbani, either kwa kazini, this is a great opportunity. Partner with us today as you serve God through service to humanity. It's not been easy for Ken. Can you imagine a young man, can you imagine 23 years old, for the last 4 years amekuwa mgonjwa na hii tumor. It's not been easy for him. The reason why niliamua kusupport naye because he's a fighter. He is a fighter. He's always calling me, kuniambia naenda huku naenda. Sasa kazi yake imekuwa ni kwenda hospitali. Kazi yake ni kutafuta matibabu for the last 4 years. Silverlight tumekuwa naye for the last 1 year. It has been a tough journey. Money is needed, and as you know, cancer ni kukula tu penya, ni kunyonya tu, ni kuitisha tu, because I know even you, cancer imekuwa kwa kila boma. You know, maybe you have a relative amekuwa na cancer. Hii familia hawana hiyo pesa. That's why Silverlight iko hapa Tharaka-Nithi Day. Ngombe tunatembea Kenya nzima. Tutakuja. But today I request you to support Ken. You have seen amazing testimonies. And I know we'll come back here to celebrate what God is going to do through Ken's life. Kiangalia unaona huge transformation. Yenye alikuwa na CS venye yako saizi. So there is hope. We are here to motivate him, to tell him he can. He will fight. He's a fighter. Let's support him. Tuende pale kwa paybill number. Let's support him with whatever you have. And God bless you as you purpose. Support Ken. Kila nataka uongee na Wakenya. Ongea na Wakenya vizuri. Ongea na Wakenya.
Ningeomba tu anisaidie. Hiyo siku ikifika ndio nione hata kama ni transport ya kwenda huko. Mwambie hata sijui daktari atasema nini. Ningetaka mnisaidie kitu tu mtu ako nayo. Nisaidie na Mungu atakuwa kubariki. Ampa nifanyiwe surgery. Sijui hata itakuwa pesa ngapi. Naomba tu mnisaidie. Kitu tu mtu ako nayo. Kama ni shilingi kama 5 itanisukuma mahali.
Umesema ni challenges gani unapitia na hiyo ugonjwa hapa nyumbani?
Pesa ya kwenda wasi kukula, lazima nikule kitu ina nisaidia kwa mwili. Lazima maziwa ninunue. Kila kitu ni pesa. Hiyo pesa ndio shinda.
Silverlight is a community organization that belongs to all of us, to all Kenyans. That's why we continue to request you to continue, working with us as we continue to support people like Ken. Si kupenda kwake kuwa hapa. I know you're not giving because you have a lot. Najua economy ni mbaya. Si nzuri hata kidogo. But I want to request you to sacrifice ile kidogo uko nayo. Be it 50 shilling, be it 100, 30, 1,000, ile Mungu amekupea. Zako hauna kitu, you can sacrifice your lunch, your breakfast, ama your dinner. Ama unaweza fuliza kama hauna kitu. But make sure, don't just watch. Make sure umesupport. Make sure umewalk na Ken. Make sure umempea motisha wa kuishi. Please support him. And also let's continue praying for Ken. This is Dorothy Kanyo. Now the mom to Ken Moreithi. Na kama mama anajua ijakuwa rahisi. Imekuwa pia ijakuwa rahisi kwako kama mama. How has it been? Imekuwaje?
ni ngumu sana. Nilikuwa namtoa kwa nyumba yake, nikampeleka huko kwangu sababu hawezi kushika hata kijiko na mkono wake. Usiku na mchana mimi silali. Hata sasa sioni silali kumpa hata samsami kumuosha sababu hawezi kila kitu. Nimetoka vituko kama lulini na hapa ndeme 3. Kwanza tukaanza kuuza kuku, tukaiusha kila kitu, hata miti tukauza ile kuwa kwa samba, tukasimama hivyo. Alafu kuna watu wanatusaidianga kidogo, baadaye wakachoka. Kasuka kutusaidia. Hata saa ingine anamaliza mwezi mmoja aendi kwa hospitali kwa sababu ya pesa. Sitayo naenda na papake leo, kesho kutwa hivyo. Mimi nikiwaona wakija pale sababu najua atalala siku hiyo, nikimuona nikatamka ya. Hata nikasiko ni ugonjwa wake, hata mimi sasa sikwe sana kwa hayo. Lakini sasa naona Mungu anafanya kazi yake. Hata kama hatukumaliza, naona Mungu mbele yangu. Hata sasa ataenda tarehe 2024. Hatuna pesa, tunamngoja Mungu tu. Sisi tutafanya nini? Wengine wanasema tulifanya, baba amefanya, lakini mimi najua Mungu yeye anasaidia mtu. Hata Mungu alisema ukimuomba na imani yote yawezekana. Sasa najua yote itawezekana kwa sababu ya Mungu.
Ni mtoto wako wangapi? Mtoto wako wangapi?
Wa mwisho.
Wa mwisho.
Kuna wengine 3 na ndio wanatusaidianga kidogo.
Na sasa najua ukijifungia hapa kwako, sasa hivi unalia peke yako. Ni vitu gani zio kujia mpaka unamwaga machozi peke yako ukiona ukijana?
Kimuona najua hiyo ilikuwa hapo, na singine isinatokea huku, sijui ni nini, kama ndimo ilikuwa hapa na hapa wale kabika. Watu wakimuona, hata wengine wale wana uchungu wakimuona, hata hao wanalia sababu ya kumuona na maji katemna yote. Hata hii unaona nimemchunga ni anti wangu alininulia hiyo, unaona nilimpa hiyo nilikuwa nijifunza anatuka saa yote hata miti tukauza, tuliacha na kuku tukauza mbuzi. Ugonjwa kali.
Ugonjwa mama anasema ugonjwa kali. Kansa za mwanzo. Wasi walianza na miti, wakaanza miti yote, kuku. Nyingine wameuza mbuzi, wameuza kila kitu. Ikabaki mpaka hakuna kitu wanaweza kuuza. Wameuza kila kitu. Kila kitu. Na Ken bado anaimprove, lakini bado hajamaliza treatment. It's painful. And when I see mama akisimama na yeye, I appreciate. Nasikia mpaka ugonjwa ilikuwa imefura, imefika hapa kwa mapua. You know, ukiona picha za before, mnaelewa what you're talking about. Ijakuwa rahisi mama.
Si rahisi. Ni Mungu, ni kuomba sababu najua Mungu ametenda. Ndio nakuwa namna hiyo. Ukiniona mwaka
Last year.
Last year.
Mm.
Kutaka kuniona.
Mungu ametenda.
Mungu ametenda. Najua ametenda. Na taendelea.
Kuna mwingine Mungu ametenda maajabu. Na. Unajua kuimba?
Sana mimi mwanakwaya.
Hebu tuimbie hiyo.
Hiyo sijui.
Tujifunze.
Nimuimbie moja
Ninaimbanga yote yawezekana kwa imani, yote yawezekana kwa imani, yote yawezekana kwa imani, yote yawezekana kwa imani.
Inawezekana kwa imani. That's why tuko hapa. It is possible. Wengi wamwambia ati ni cancer. Cancer huwezi pona. Ndio watuambia hapa.
Hata watu huko wamesema hapo. Hata wameona Mungu.
Wameona Mungu
kupitia Ken.
Unaona mabadiliko kubwa
sana. Kila mtu anasema mwadhani ya kumi.
Mungu ni mwema.
Wamemuona kupitia yeye.
Yote yawezekana.
Yote yawezekana kwa imani. Mimi najua hivi.
Yote yawezekana kwa imani. This is amazing. This is amazing. And that's how I say, it's my life. We're happy to be part of this. It's not been easy, but again, you need your support. Kwa imani, please support. I know economy ni mbaya, but by faith, please support. And thank you as your papa support. We don't give because we have a lot, but we support. Nataka kuongelesha Wakenya. Wakenya, people of goodwill. Waambie kusupport. Waambiaje wale Wakenya wanatazama?
Naambia wanisaidie hapo pamebaki na Mungu atawasaidia ili aweze kufika hapo pamebaki.
Ni amplify too words za mama that they need your support. Pale imebaki, please support them. Na Mungu atakubariki. Wale wanasema that haiwezi pona, will be a testimony. You're a witness because he's going to be okay. Inawezekana kwa imani. So thank you for your support. Tuzidi kusupport.
Manyara.com. Casino, Aviator, and other crash games also available at Manyara. Sign up today. This message has been approved by BCLB license number 664. Gambling can be addictive. Play responsibly. Terms and conditions apply.
Ima na wendo mwingi tukikuthokia Embu County, the land of opportunities. Gambonene ya Ngemi FM mushi worata.
Twegagure na kamwetha kama vyumeto. Muroro kiande tukunye maire na murori tuthie thokore besa mevukore cha
manje makiyara uranje muri cietu cia thitima na ronje rwathagana nyamu cia kithaka igitugemeria bururi wetu wa mbere Embu County. Ngemi FM tikomuno tukianirira na mugambo munene. Eno ni
Ngemi FM
musie wa urata.
Eno ni nyumba nene
musie wa urata.
Ngemi FM 103.5.
Nobody likes you. You were born a mistake.
How many times can you hear the same lie before you start to believe it? The enemy keeps whispering to me. Swear these days it's all that I'm hearing. I used to know who I was, now I look in the mirror and I'm not so sure. Lord, I don't want to listen to the lies anymore. The truth is I am my Father's child. I make him proud and I make him smile. I was made in the image of a perfect king. He looks at me and wouldn't change a thing. The truth is I am truly loved by a God who's good when I'm not good enough. I don't belong to the lies, I belong to you. And that's the truth. When I feel like there's so much noise living rent-free in my head, heaven finds me in a still small voice and it sounds like grace instead. You remind me who I am when I look in the mirror and I'm not so sure. Lord, I don't want to listen to the lies anymore. The truth is I am my Father's child. I make him proud and I make him smile. I was made in the image of a perfect king. He looks at me and wouldn't change a thing. The truth is I am truly loved by a God who's good when I'm not good enough. I don't belong to the lies, I belong to you. And that's the truth. I know who I am, 'cause I know who you are. And I hold your truth inside of my heart. I know the lies are always gonna try and find me, but I've never been so sure. The truth is I am my Father's child. I make him proud and I make him smile. I was made in the image of a perfect king. He looks at me and wouldn't change a thing. The truth is I am truly loved by a God who's good when I'm not good enough. I don't belong to the lies, I belong to you. I belong to you. And that's the truth. And that's the truth.
It's like it was yesterday. I was praying for a miracle, scared to have a little hope. But now looking back today, seeing all the things you've done, I can't even lie them all. 1, 2, 3, up to infinity. I'd run out of numbers before I could thank you for everything. God, I'm still counting my blessings. All that you've done in my life. The more that I look in the details, the more of your goodness I find. Father, on this side of heaven, I know that I'll run out of time, but I will keep counting my blessings.
silence the voices in the corners of my mind. You see where I've been hiding, fears that I've been fighting between darkness and light. When I feel afraid, I will run to you. When I feel alone, I will look to you. Be still, my soul, be still, and know you are loved. You're strong and I am helpless. You lift me up in a weakness. You are with me now. 'Cause you breathe when I'm breathless. Peace when I am restless. Your spirit surrounds me. When I feel afraid, I will run to you. When I feel alone, I will look to you. Be still, my
can I do with this fire on the inside? I'm burning up with the truth I can't hide. You're the reason for this hope in my life. I'm gonna let it shine. I have to let it shine. This is what we live for. To go where you say go. To let the whole world know you're the light in the darkness. Oh, this is what we live for. To love the way you love. So God be lifted up. Come be light in the darkness. Oh, this is what we live for. This is what we live for. This is what we live for. When you breathe, even dry bones come alive. When you speak, God, you shut down every lie. You're the reason for this hope in our lives. I'm gonna testify. I have to testify. This is what we live for. To go where you say go. To let the whole world know you're light in the darkness. Oh, this is what we live for. To love the way you love. So God be lifted up. Come be light in the darkness. Oh, this is what we live for. This is what we live for. This is what we live for. Chasing your heart and all that you are. We surrender all. Your favor with us, your presence in us. Now Jesus, your name above it all. What you gonna do with this fire on the inside? I said, what you gonna do with this fire on the inside? This is what we live for. To go where you say go. To let the whole world know you're the light in the darkness. Oh, this is what we live for. To love the way you love. So God be lifted up. Come be light in the darkness. Oh, this is what we live for. This is what we live for. This is what we live for.
Thank you, Lord, for the small things, like me and her on a porch swing, the summer nights and fireflies and the sound of my old six string. Blessings on blessings on blessings on blessings. If I still got breath in these lungs, then that's all I need to get down on my knees and be thankful for all that He's done. For my mama, for my friends, for your love that never ends, for the songs that make us dance on this old dirt floor. For my babies, for my girls, for the way they changed my world. And waking up today, yeah, I just gotta say thank you, Lord. Yeah, I just wanna say thank you, Lord. Oh, now.
Thank you, Lord, for the hard times, for lighting the way in the dark times, for pulling me in, for giving again the times that I took it too far. I gotta thank you for keeping me humble, for picking me up when I stumble. And although I change, you stay the same, and I don't say thank you enough. For my mama, for my friends, for your love that never ends, for the songs that gotta say thank you, Lord. I just wanna say thank you, Lord. Oh, yeah. Praise up, eyes closed. One thing I know, I just wanna thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Praise up, eyes closed. One thing I know, I just wanna thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. For my mama, for my friends, for your love that never ends, for the songs that make us dance on this old dirt floor. For my babies, for my girl, for the way they changed my world. Waking up today, yeah, I just gotta say thank you, Lord. Praise up, I just wanna say thank you, Lord. I just wanna thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Yeah. Praise up, eyes closed. One thing I know, I just wanna say thank you, Lord. You found me in the darkness. You never ever left me. You love me, you love unconditionally. You are good, you are God, you are great. You found me in the darkness. You never ever left me. You love me. You love unconditionally. You are good. You are God, you are great. Everybody sing, I will shout in love to the end. You've been good to me. You've been good to me. You've been good to me.
me, you love unconditionally. You are good, you are God, you are.
Jesus' blood can make you free, for he saved the worst among you when he saved a wretch like me. And I know, yes I know, Jesus' blood can make the vilest sinner clean. And I know, yes I know, Jesus' blood can make the vilest sinner clean. To the faint he giveth power, through the mountains makes a way, findeth water in the desert, turns the night to golden day. And I know, yes I know, Jesus' blood can make
Peace like a river wash over me. Immerse me in water as deep as the sea. Hide me in love, your healing embrace. Peace like a river wash over me. As I worship your majesty, I worship your holy name. Jesus, my everything. All that I am is yours. Come, Holy Spirit, rain down on me. Break open the heavens and drench the unseen. Oh, pour out your presence as I pour out your praise. Come, Holy Spirit, Lord, have your way as I worship your majesty. I worship your holy name. Jesus, my everything. All that I am is yours. I worship your majesty. I worship your holy name. Jesus, my everything. All that I am is Open the heavens, fling wide the gates, flood every heart with mercy. Pour out your presence, inhabit our praise as we cry, holy, holy. Open the heavens, fling wide the gates, flood every heart with mercy. Pour out your presence, inhabit our praise as we cry, holy, holy. Open the heavens, fling wide the gates, flood every heart with mercy. Pour out your presence, inhabit our praise as we cry, holy, holy. As we cry, holy, Lord, send revival. Lord, send it now. A move of your spirit, heaven break out. Come now in power, cover this land like you've done it before. Would you do it again? Lord, send revival. Lord, send it now. A move of your spirit, heaven break out. Come now in power, cover this land like you've done it before. Would you do it again? Lord, send revival. Lord, send it now. A move of your spirit, heaven break out. Come now in power. before, would you do it again?
In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters.
Everything's dark. Everything's dark. Then your spirit moves. Ooh, ooh. Then your spirit moves. Ooh, ooh. Everything's dark. Ooh. When I look around and I see everything's dark, I see darkness all around me. Everything's dark. Oh Lord, I cry out to you. Everything's dark. 'Cause when your spirit moves, I know. Said your spirit moves and it changes things. Said it resurrects and it establishes things. Said it reconstructs and it sets it all
favorite team and win big on MeChezobet.com. Casino, Aviator, and other crash games also available at MeChezobet. Sign up today. This message has been approved by BCLB license number 664. Gambling can be addictive. Play responsibly. Terms and conditions apply.
Hili yago beka yago malisa hakuna mtu mwingine anakuingililia. Toa hapa. Mimi nimeogoja tafadhali.
Ni ukule hiyo chakula unaonwa saa hii kula. Hargod gal. Hargod gal. What? Nini?
Tuko na emergency.
Ile emergency ya we.
Nipatie hiyo 200.
Mama Kaya hii ndio wako nayo.
Mama Kaya nipatie 200. Mimi mutaharibu kazi yangu. Chukua kunywa kama unataka.
Unaniruhusia maji?
Toka.
Unajua hapo unaweza ungua maji.
Mimi niko sawa, ongeza tu kuni hapa.
Unasikia nanuka kama Manyara?
It's so refreshing.
Refreshing?
Naipenda.
Pindi tunapowasha vifaa vyetu, tunapata fursa ya kutangamana na wasikilizaji wetu.
Karibu sana thĩinĩ wa tabarĩra ya Rwiga.
Tunapeperusha utangazaji uliobobea katika habari,
nĩ ũndũ wa macio na mangĩ maingĩ,
burudani,
nĩ harĩa tũkoragwo tũkĩigua nyĩmbo mwaki nyĩmbo hot,
na hamasisho la kiroho. Usiachwe nyuma. Jiunge nasi kwa safari ya kufana katika 99.5 FM. Soro FM.
May our God bless us with grace, mercy, and peace. And may we always find more room around God's feet, where there is complete rest from the cares of this world. For every woman, man, boy, and girl, I pray we are blessed with God's grace, mercy, and peace. May our God bless us with grace, mercy, and peace. And may we always find more room around God's feet, where there is complete rest from the cares of this world. For every woman, man, boy, and girl, I pray we are blessed with God's grace, mercy, and peace. Peace, peace.
May our God bless us with grace, mercy, and peace.
I pray you receive that tonight, and may you always find more room around God's feet, where there is complete rest from the cares of this world. We ought to rest tonight for every woman, man, boy, and girl. I pray we are blessed with God's grace, mercy, and peace. No matter the highs and the lows, the seasons of life may bring, I pray the Spirit of God is revealed and leads us up to grace and marvelous things, whether we stay standing side by side or circumstance determines our goodbye. I pray we are blessed, blessed in the city, blessed in the field.
We are blessed with God's grace,
Mercy and peace. I receive, and I believe I can see it on you too. I receive, receive it, and I believe I can see it on you too. I receive it, I receive it, and I believe I can see it on you too. I receive it, I receive it, and I believe I can see it on you too. Let's take our time tonight. I receive it, so we don't miss anybody who needs His grace and mercy. Grace, mercy, and peace. I believe I can see it on you. Oh, grace, mercy, and peace. I believe you are blessed in your going out and your coming in. Oh, God, watch over us while we are absent, one from another, keeping connection by the resurrection. Power God paid for us all to receive. Oh, God, watch over us while we are absent, one from another, keeping connection by the resurrection. Power God paid for us all to receive. Oh, God, watch over us while we are absent. Send us your grace and your peace by the resurrection. God paid for us all to receive. Rest from the cares of this world. Rest from the cares of this world. You ought to lay your burden down and rest from the cares of that heavy load will not serve you. On this narrow way, you ought to rest. You ought to rest. You ought to rest. You ought to rest. Rest from the cares of this world. For every woman, man, boy, and girl, I pray we are blessed with God's grace, mercy, and peace. You did the impossible, impossible. You did the impossible,
Hopeless.
Hopeless and confused,
I got questions, but I
still know you're able. This current situation is testing my faith.
Who would come in?
Save me. My family's leaning on me.
I've had to be strong for everybody else.
I'm praying, can you please help me?
Say do it yourself.
If I could, I would, but I can't.
I need you.
Need you.
Save me.
So we call on him. He provides for me. He blocked it. In the middle of
My story said, be still.
He paid.
The bill.
I live long enough to know that your testimony will be that
He did the impossible, impossible. You did.
You did the impossible.
lift your hands. Dependable. 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 Thank you, dependable. Reliable God. You are the final word. I can trust in your word. Dependable God. Give him praise. Give him worship. We can trust in your word. And we thank you, Jesus. We give him praise, Jesus. We can trust in your word. Your word is here and there. We give him praise, Jesus. We exalt your name, Jesus.
Lord, let your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Help us to love and see each other the way you love and see us. Come.
My heart is always long for something more. I search the stars to knock on heaven's door. Creation groans for God to be revealed, and everyone we carry will be healed. My eyes on the sun, Lord, your will be done. Thine is the kingdom, the power, the glory, forever and ever. He finished our story. We're singing freedom, our testimony. We'll be singing forever. Amen. We'll be singing forever and ever. Amen.
And we talk to him.
Beautiful each color that you made. Yeah, your love's the only remedy for hate. And you return to set the prisoners free. Till then your will on earth be done in me. My eyes on the sun, Lord, your will be done. Thine is the kingdom, the power, the glory. You finished my story. We're singing freedom. Our testimony. We'll be singing forever. We'll be singing forever. We'll be singing forever and ever. Amen.
You cannot let the problems of the world get you down so much that you forget that this is only temporary. You were created for something so much bigger, so much greater. But if all you see is what you see, then you do not see all there is to be seen. Oh, there's so much more that life has in store for you. Don't give up now. You're almost there. You're closer than you ever been before. Talk to him, B. Come on.
If you've ever wondered what heaven looks like,
Come on.
it's looking like you. And if you've ever questioned what heaven sounds like, just let it fill the room. Help me say, if you've ever wondered
What heaven looks like. Oh, it's looking like me.
holding you up, so there's nothing I can do to let you down. It doesn't take a trophy to make you proud. No, I'll never be more loved than I am right now.
Here we go. Cheer your favorite team and win big on MeChezoBet.com. Casino, Aviator, and other crash games also available at MeChezobet. Sign up today. This message has been approved by BCLB license number 664. Gambling can be addictive. Play responsibly. Terms and conditions apply.
Hii ni yako beka yako, maliza, hakuna mtu mwingine anakuingililia. Toa hapa. Mimi nimeogoja tafadhali.
Ni ukule hiyo chakula unaonwa saa hii, kula. Very good girl. Very good girl. What? Nini?
Tuko na emergency.
Ile emergency ya
Nipatie hiyo 200.
Mama Karia hii ndio wako nayo.
Mama Karia nipatie 200. Mimi mutaharibu kazi yangu. Chukua kunywa kama unataka.
Unaniruhusia maji?
Toka.
Unajua hapo unaweza ungua maji.
Mimi niko sawa, ongeza tu kuni hapa.
Unasikia nanuka kama Manyara?
It's so refreshing.
Refreshing?
Naipenda.
to sort of drive through these types of reforms. At heart, Friedrich Merz is in the German mold, a man of austerity, a man who is naturally inclined not to go too lavish and splurge and bust the bank. But at the same time, he does have an agenda. He's ambitious, as we saw, and he does really want to put Germany. You could hear it and you could see it in his emotions. He wants to put Germany at the center of a galvanized, of a recharged Europe, in a sense.
But all talk has been about the AfD party. It was widely predicted that they would garner the most support since the fall of the Nazi regime for a right-wing party since World War II. Projected exit polls have indeed nearly doubled the party's previous strongest showing since it first entered the national parliament in 2017.
Dear friends, we have achieved a historic result. We have never been stronger in the federal government. We have become the second strongest force as the alternative for Germany. And we've now firmly established ourselves as a people's party. We're always extending a hand for government participation to fulfill the will of the people, the will of Germany. We are ready for government participation. Our hand is always outstretched to fulfill the people's will.
A boisterous Alice Weidel speaking there. She's 46 years old. She's been heading the AfD party all this time and has really become the face of Germany's far right. She's largely credited with this gigantic surge in the polls. So who exactly is Alice Weidel? Nick Rushworth tells us.
The ambition of the 46-year-old candidate for the far right in Germany, Alice Weidel, is to get closer to holding power bit by bit. Her party, Alternative for Germany, is in second position in the polls with 20% of the vote. That is unprecedented. Her supporters at a recent rally were unequivocal.
She's honest and on point.
She's very capable of governing Germany.
The former banker, who has lived in China and the United States, has gained support with far-right activists with a tougher line, particularly on immigration.
We stepped up to save Germany, our homeland. And we will say this to the whole world. German borders are closed.
The AFD leader declined requests for an interview. However, an AFD MP said she was the party's ideal candidate.
It's an advantage to have a woman who speaks well, who is intelligent, who represents something. It's the same thing with Marine Le Pen in France.
Weidel has been a Bundestag MP since 2017. She has in recent months had media support from people close to the US President Donald Trump, in particular Elon Musk.
It's okay to be proud to be German. This is a very important principle.
Weidel is hostile to the European Union in its current form, she says. She is described as pro-Russian and was recently received by Viktor Orbán, the authoritarian Hungarian Prime Minister, who believes that she is the future of Germany. Her private life has often made the headlines of the German press, including the revelation of the identity of one of her grandfathers, a former Nazi judge, who she says she never knew. And concerning her partner, a woman of Sri Lankan descent, they have 2 children. Based in Switzerland, they regularly publish photos and videos of their lives together. A journalist at Der Spiegel says that suits the AfD.
If you want to accuse the party of being homophobic, sexist or racist, they can always answer, no, we have Alice Weidel. In the AfD scenario, she works really well.
All analysts say there is no possibility Weidel will come to power. The other parties reject any pact with the far right. But for how long? In January, the centre-right CDU relied on support of the far right in the Bundestag for the first time.
Well, moving to Ukraine, President Volodymyr Zelensky has offered his resignation as the country's president if it means that Ukraine will be admitted into NATO. His words come amidst a fragmenting relationship between Kyiv and Washington since US and Russian officials met last week in Saudi Arabia without involving Ukraine or its European allies. Donald Trump has branded Zelensky a dictator, falsely claiming that Ukraine started the war. But on the eve of the 3rd anniversary of Moscow's invasion, Zelensky says he wants to meet the US president. And that's also to discuss granting Washington access to Ukrainian natural resources before any other meeting with Putin. Zelensky's claimed progress on the deal. The developments have prompted European Union leaders to meet for an extraordinary summit on March 6th to discuss Ukraine and defense. Nearly 3 years in their army, crowdfunding vital equipment for new recruits and dedicating countless hours to volunteering. But as daily life resumed and economic hardship set in, sustaining that momentum became harder, yet supporting the military remains woven into everyday life, whether by collecting donations on a birthday or spending a weekend driving supplies to the front. For many, doing their part isn't just an obligation, it's a way of life. Our correspondent Gulliver Cragg reports.
People come to Roman Skorpion's concerts to enjoy themselves and forget their troubles. So it's only on the closing number that he mentions the war. Like most performers in Ukraine these days, Skorpion is raising money for the army.
There is someone in every family in Ukraine today who is defending our country. And we all have one great wish, that they come back home alive. No donation is too small. Let me hand over now to our auctioneer.
The singer's family is no exception. He has a brother on the front line.
There was a period when he was out of contact, but in the family we kept up the faith that he was okay and would come back home alive. After a month, he finally got a signal again. That's when I wrote that song for him.
Come Back Alive is the name of the largest of several associations collecting donations for the army in Ukraine. Since 2022, it has collected more than 321 million euros. The fund has just delivered new thermal imaging devices to these snipers from the 210th Regiment, currently defending Ukraine's foothold in Kursk region in Russia.
Both in the daytime and at night, these will make it easier for the snipers to spot enemy combatants and destroy them effectively.
As a percentage of the overall military budget, the charity's contribution is small. but they respond swiftly to specific demands and without red tape. Most Ukrainians still donate to the army, but in 2024 they donated markedly less. Funds have professionalized, seeking more contributions from businesses and from abroad.
We've got 4 employees now. They're paid out of a separate budget. It can't come from private individuals' donations.
Yuri Tanasichuk's April Foundation buys cars and makes drones for the army. He himself devotes 80% of his time to it, unpaid.
My brother is missing in action, my only brother. This is a war for survival. And while Ukraine continues to fight, we're buying time for the democratic world to change, to realize that the global paradigm has changed. And the day after tomorrow, unfortunately, this could happen to any country.
After delivering its cargo of humanitarian aid in the east, this car will be handed over to soldiers from the 93rd Brigade and remain at the front.
Let's go to the Middle East now. Tensions over the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas is continuing, with Hamas refusing further talks unless Israel releases some 600 Palestinian prisoners as part of the latest swap. But the tension also continues to mount in the West Bank. For the first time in 20 years, an Israeli tank division is going to be sent into the city of Jenin, according to the Israeli military. It's the same area where Israeli troops began a major raid against Palestinian militants just after the truce began 5 weeks ago. Israel's activities have been blasted by the UN, who says it's led to the forced displacement of some 40,000 Palestinians. But Israeli officials have doubled down, saying the presence is potentially permanent. And with the truce at such a delicate stage, we caught up with our correspondent in Jerusalem, Nogata Napolsky.
We have 2 developments that may be connected here today. In one, as you said, for the very first time, the Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz has said, basically confirming what we have been reporting for a few weeks, that 40,000 Palestinians have evacuated. He said they're not coming back anytime soon, and that their locations, the places where they've lived, are, quote, emptied of their residents. In addition, he said that the Israeli army is preparing to spend at least 1 year there, and he proposed a very radical proposal, which is for the Israeli army to put up basically checkpoints in the middle of all of these refugee camps in order to stop anyone trying to return back. I have the spokesperson for the Israeli army, Colonel Nadav Shishani, told us today when I asked him, he said that any talk of ethnic cleansing is baseless and an absolute lie.
Well, finally, throughout the weekend, we have been relaying Vatican updates on the health of Pope Francis. His state was described as critical on Saturday night, having suffered a prolonged asthma-style attack and requiring blood transfusions. But the night did pass peacefully for the 88-year-old pontiff. According to the Holy See, there was no repeat of yesterday's crisis. He is alert and he is spending his 10th night in hospital. That's it for the news right now on the World Roundup Show. Up next, a week in France for the latest around the country.
Well, first up this week on A Week in France, ahead of his trip to the U.S. Capitol, Emmanuel Macron gave a preview of what he plans to say to Donald Trump. In a 1-hour question and answer session on social media, the French president insisted he'll tell his American counterpart that he, quote, cannot be weak in the face of Vladimir Putin. His comments coming as European countries continue to search for a collective response to the war, especially as the Trump administration looks increasingly unlikely to defend Kyiv's interests. Florent Marché.
After holding meetings at the Élysée Palace on the subject of Ukraine, Emmanuel Macron invited his followers to a live stream on social media. He clarified France's position on a sensitive subject, sending troops to the war-torn country.
Today, we did not intend to send any combat troops to Ukraine. But we do not rule out the possibility of having forces that could help guarantee Ukraine's security once peace is negotiated within a planned framework with our allies.
Pourrait contribuer à garantir la sécurité de l'Ukraine.
The current plan is to deploy soldiers to secure the 2,300 kilometers of Ukraine's current wartime borders with Russia and 1,100 kilometers with Belarus. Great Britain has already said it's open to the idea.
There's a brutality and a war of attrition that's being waged against Ukraine by Russia, and it must be resisted and must continue to be resisted by all allies and right-thinking countries.
According to British media outlets, Paris and London are considering the creation of a European force. Some 30,000 soldiers would only be deployed once a ceasefire is in place. But the subject is not unanimously supported in Europe. Germany is firmly opposed to it.
It is highly inappropriate. For me, it is clear that this is a false debate at the wrong time on the wrong subject.
But European powers do agree on unwavering support for Kyiv and claim to do everything possible to achieve a lasting and solid peace that won't leave Ukraine behind. While Donald Trump is stepping up his criticism of Vladimir Zelensky, Emmanuel Macron has called on his American counterpart to stand up to Vladimir Putin, a message he will be able to pass on in person next Monday at the White House. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer is also expected in Washington on Thursday.
Well, next, the details of the case are dizzying. 112 people coming forward with accusations of rape, sexual assault, and violence against 11 people. Acts that occurred over the span of nearly 4 decades and at one of the places that children should feel the safest. That's at school. Well, new claims that the current French Prime Minister, François Bayrou, was aware of these accusations of sexual abuse at the Notre-Dame de Bétharram school when he was education minister have turned the affair into a political scandal. Rachel Griffiths has more.
The pressure is mounting for François Bayrou. On Thursday, a teacher told a website that the French Prime Minister was aware of claims of sexual abuse of young boys at a Catholic school, but did not act on them. He has recently faced pressure from the opposition over what he knew about the allegations at the school, where 3 of his children also attended. His wife also taught at the school. The French education minister said France must learn from its mistakes.
One could say that the state failed to step up in this case. And it's hard to understand how we didn't react sooner. That's why we must act by strengthening checks. It's also why we must take action to ensure that victims feel able to speak out.
The left last week accused the 72-year-old of lying to Parliament when he said he was unaware of the widespread claims. François Bayrou has repeatedly denied any wrongdoing.
I don't know these people, nor does my wife. Don't use words that are designed to escalate tensions. I am saying things as they are. The mechanics of the scandal always aim to raise the tension. I know that very well.
On Wednesday, 3 men were taken into custody on suspicion of aggravated rape and sexual assault committed at the boarding school. A group of survivors from Notre-Dame de Bétharram have so far recorded 132 complaints. But for survivors, taking legal action may be challenging, given the evidence of abuse dates from the 1950s into the 2000s.
Well, perhaps even more importantly, beyond the political implications of this affair are the over 100 victims, as well as evidence of a system that has failed for decades to protect children. For more on that angle, then, Alice Ackerman is our guest for this edition of A Week in France. She's a communications consultant for the International Planned Parenthood Federation. Thank you so much for joining us today, Alice. So this case, of course, as that report said, involves abuse that occurred over about 40 years. Why did the French government fail to act when officials were made aware? Do you think this is revelatory of a French problem or something much larger than that?
I think this case really is the top of the iceberg of a systematic failure of the French state to protect children. I think it shows that it's not only in Notre-Dame de Bétharram, but I think in other schools the report system is not good enough. We've seen that in the case of Notre-Dame de Bétharram, some people reported it. There's been an investigation by the inspection, but the result of the investigation did not result in closing the school or to have more investigation and protecting the children. So we're seeing that the state is not fully protecting children, and there's a need for a global reform and a comprehensive policy to protect the children.
Some of these things do seem very specific to the context in France, especially because this is not the first of such cases to take place here, even though it has a specific government service that's actually tasked with protecting children. I also know that one of the men who was arrested recently had been in his post at the school until last year. So what is specific to France about some of these failures?
I think in France we have still a huge taboo and a denial around the violence on children. I feel like we still need some kind of Me Too movement on the violence on children, because the children they have been speaking out about the violence that they are suffering, but they haven't been listened to, believed, and protected. And this is on the government, but also on the adults that are surrounding the children. It's like they don't want to listen. They don't want to face the fact that children are victims of violence, and so based on that, they are not protecting them well. I'm not sure if it's an issue only in France. I would say all around the world we're seeing children facing violence and the government failing to protect them and failing to hearing them. Even in extreme settings, like IPPF works in my organization, works in humanitarian settings, in conflicts. And right now, for example, in Congo, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, children are facing violence, rapes, and we see a silence around it. Like, we don't want to see it because it's so hard to see it. And right now we need a global solidarity. We need to talk to the international community to protect the human rights of children all over the world and not only in France.
So the major focus, at least in France, of this case right now is, of course, the political angle, whether or not the current Prime Minister, François Bayrou, knew about this when he was education minister. Do you think that the debate has overshadowed the stories of the victim, or do you think that even the debate surrounding what the Prime Minister knew can actually lead to constructive long-term changes?
I would say there are two sides. When you listen to the victims of Notre-Dame de Bethlehem, they are saying that they haven't felt heard and listened to by the community. The journalists have been speaking over and over about this case on a regional level decades ago, and still we didn't react. And now that François Bayrou is the Prime Minister and people are more concerned and are listening more to the stories, I feel like maybe in a way it brings light to the responsibility of the politicians to protect the children. And François Bayrou is actually embodying the issue of inaction and complicity. And this is why we need to change the rules. We need to change the system. We need to hold politicians, schools accountable to make school a safe environment for children.
As a final question for you, Alice, what kinds of policies concretely do you think should be put in place, and policies that are clearly missing, at least from the French perspective?
We see in France that for the case in Notre-Dame de Bethlehem, but also for the case coming around the surgeon Le Squarnec, is that the report system is failing. People have been reporting the actions, but then afterwards, nothing happened. And we need to ask ourselves why. And I think that's like the first step, and the civil society in France have been asking for it. The CVs, the independent committee working on incest and on sexual violence on children, have been asking to reassess the report system. And they also gave 82 recommendations to the state on how to better protect children from sexual violence, physical violence, and also incest, because we see there is still a huge taboo on violence on children, but also incest, which is one of the violence on children.
Just a very quick follow-up, and listening to you, I mean, you say that organizations have been fighting for these things to be put in place. You can understand why in other policies there's more political division about why or why not they should not, become law. But what's controversial about any of these proposals? Who is resisting them?
I think there is no controversy. I think there is a denial and a taboo, and people are scared to talk about violence on children because they are scared to look and to look under what's happening. Because I was saying Notre-Dame de Bethlehem is the top of the iceberg. If you look under what's happening, who are the children being victims? We know that 160,000 of children in France are victims of sexual assault every year, and I feel like people, especially the government, maybe is scared of looking at that and taking actions to actually protect the children.
We'll see, I imagine, in the coming weeks if this does lead to any meaningful change. Alice Ackerman of the International Planned Parenthood Federation, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
Well, that's all we have for you for this edition of Around the World. You stay tuned. I'll be back in under 4 minutes with another look at the day's top stories.
This This week in Paris des Arts, we're heading for the La Pérouse restaurant, where gastronomy, mystery and literature have merged since 1766, and where author Frédéric Becbédé talks about his new novel, A Lone Man.
Je ne sais pas très bien qui je suis. Tous mes livres essaient d'enquêter pour savoir ce que je fous là. C'est une qualité pour un écrivain d'être paumé, d'être un peu égaré, je crois.
Singing, dancing and comedy, the Seagirls reveal what goes on behind the scenes with their new show, Dérapage.
C'est notre 6e spectacle, donc le renouveau pour nous il est indispensable, il est vital, et je crois que Paris est vraiment gagné.
Experience Suzanne Valadon's world through an unfiltered female gaze. The Pompidou Centre traces her journey and artistic legacy in a unique exhibition. Watch Paris des Arts with Valérie Fayolle on France 24. France 24, every art form.
Liberté, égalité, actualité.
I'm Dave Keating, and I bring you all the latest news from Europe's capital, Brussels, Belgium, from here at European Union summits to NATO meetings strategizing Europe's defense, here on France 24.
Dave Keating, one of the 200 France 24 correspondents around the world.
Pushes digital news even further. France 24, a digital version. Economy, sports, news, special reports, all on demand. France 24, your first choice for news.
Welcome back to the World Roundup Show here on France 24 with me, Jean-Emile Jamin, looking at all your latest global news. And it starts in Germany, where the conservative leader Friedrich Merz is on track to become the country's next chancellor after his CDU-CSU bloc claims victory in the country's elections. But the talk of the town is all about the gains made by the far-right AfD party under Alice Weidel, with the most far-right support since World War II. And Israel sends tanks to the West Bank for the first time in decades as Palestinian authorities call it a dangerous escalation. The IDF deepens its crackdown, saying it's determined to stamp out militancy amidst its latest offensive, which has claimed dozens of lives already. And Pope Francis remains in critical condition as blood tests show early kidney failure. But the Vatican says he is still alert and well-oriented. We'll have the latest on the Pontiff's health as prayers flood in from across the globe. Welcome back to the World Roundup Show here on France 24. And we start this edition where our special has left off throughout the day, covering the latest results of the German elections. As things stand, we do have these latest polls coming out from German media. Tagesschau, the conservative bloc, you can see there the CDU in black leading with 28.5%. Up next, the AfD, the far right, Alice Weidel's party, 20.6%. Huge gains there. 16.4%. Poor showing for the Social Democrats of Olaf Scholz. The Greens come in next, 11.9%. Die Linke, the far left, at 8.6%, and then below the 5% threshold, it's the FDP, who was in the coalition with Olaf Scholz's bloc before he called for that vote of no confidence, and BSW, Sarah Wagenknecht's party, also below the 5% needed to enter into parliament. And that means that we do have the seats as things stand. Another huge showing there for the AfD. They've gained massive amounts there in terms of their parliamentary showing, and there's also a big amount there for the CDU. It shows that they will need a coalition as things stand, though, with one of the other parties. And we do have a summary of what we can look out for with Vedeke Bahal, also looking at the reactions from the night.
Stepping forward to claim his victory, the leader of the German Conservatives and likely next Chancellor, Friedrich Merz. Though it was maybe less of a share than he'd hoped, the CDU-CSU alliance came in with the highest vote count of just under 29%, according to exit polls. Thanking his voters, he said he's ready for the task ahead, first of which is to form a working coalition government.
The world out there isn't waiting for us. It isn't waiting for long, drawn-out coalition talks and negotiations. We must now become capable of acting quickly again, so that we can do the right thing domestically, so that we're present in Europe again, so that the world sees Germany is reliably governed once more.
The far-right AfD, the Alternative for Germany party, led by Alice Weidel, came in at second place, with a record high of around 20% of the vote, roughly double its result from 2021. She praised the historic exit poll results and said the AfD was open to coalition talks with other parties.
We're always extending a hand for government participation to fulfill the will of the people, the will of Germany.
The surge in votes for the far right is likely to complicate the formation of a government ready to spearhead a united European response to burgeoning global threats, though all parties have said they won't work with the AfD. Outgoing Chancellor Olaf Scholz of the SPD acknowledged what he called a bitter result, but pushed to continue the country's firewall against the far right.
We live in a democratic country, and we fight for democracy. And that is why I want to make it clear that in this country, an extreme right-wing party like the AfD getting such results must never be something we will accept. I will never accept it.
It's too early to say who Merz will try and govern with, but if the AfD isn't part of the coalition, the country's second-largest party may prove very difficult as the opposition.
Well, we're now joined to go over the state of play by Katja Hoyer, historian and author of Beyond the Wall, with a specific focus on East Germany under communist rule. Katja, thank you so much for joining us. You've seen Germany go through waves of ups and downs, and mostly in the realm of the CDU leadership. It's a very different Germany to that of Angela Merkel now, with Merz possibly taking the reins. What do you think his biggest issues are going to be in terms of tackling, specifically with regards to the economy, and then looking at Germany in the face of United States pressure?
Well, I think his biggest problems are that those kind of fixed parameters that Germany once operated under, namely that it has a stable economy, that it is a sort of welcoming country towards people from other parts of the world, and that it is one of the strongest and most fervent partners of the United States and Europe, aren't in place anymore. So he will basically have to make pretty drastic and big changes in the way that Germany works and in the way that Germany sees itself as a country, and he'll have to do that possibly with quite an unstable coalition that might include parties that are currently in government and, as we've just heard, are deeply unpopular. So it is indeed a big challenge ahead there for Germany to re-establish its place in Europe and in the world, and at the same time convince Germans themselves that the mainstream parties can do this.
There's been a lot of fears about Merz and pandering to the AfD, especially on issues of immigration with that recent bill, which really tried to show a strong front against mass immigration coming into Germany. How do you think he is going to allay those fears and basically say, no, we will never be going towards the side of the far right?
Well, I mean, there are the fears on the one side, but there's also the fact that every survey that has come out in the last few months sort of shows that about 2/3 or so of the German public actually want stricter rules on immigration. So he's got to balance this very carefully. He's got to make sure that he introduces some of the changes that he was elected on by centre-right conservative voters, whilst also sticking to his promise not to work with the AfD. So he'll basically have to work with left-wing parties to get some of those centre-right policies through, which is a big challenge, and especially in a country like Germany, very, very conscious of its own history, that will always come with, very sensitive and acrimonious public debates.
And those parties, do we have any indication as things stand as to who the CDU is most open to working with? Obviously, you do have the Social Democrats of Olaf Scholz. It's been a tragic defeat for him. It's the worst result since the 1800s. But there still might be a part to play for the outgoing Chancellor.
Yes, there probably is, not so much necessarily for Olaf Scholz himself, who's already indicated that he has to take some responsibility for these results, which might well mean that he isn't going to stay at the helm of the Social Democratic Party. But the Conservatives have made no secret out of the fact that the SPD remain their kind of favoured coalition partner despite this catastrophic result for them. So they will probably look towards them. Whether they will get a majority together is the bigger question, because they might not, in which case they have to take another party into the boat, which at the moment might possibly be the Green Party. So if they do that, they end up with both of the current ruling parties back in government, despite the fact that they were deeply unpopular and were punished by voters for that.
And finally, the AfD, it doesn't look like they will be in charge. No party wants to join them in any kind of a coalition, the CDU making that abundantly clear tonight. Nonetheless, Alice Weidel will be very much licking her lips at the prospect of putting some kind of pressure on the German government. How do you see her party basically flexing its muscles going forward?
Yes, I mean, they're really in an ideal position as far as their own politics are concerned, because ultimately they've just doubled their vote share. So they will be the second largest